Guys, welcome back to another Sports Stuff podcast, number 4 with me and Aaron. Aaron, what is up?
Not much, just looking at all of the games that happened, craziness happened this week.
Yeah, what was it? I believe it was Ari. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but Ari, who works at PFF. I have him on Twitter.
hmm
He posted like 8 or 9 of the games all came down to the last minutes, last possession, which
Yeah,
is like super duper cool. I love when that
hmm
happens. But
definitely really cool.
it just makes it more enjoyable. The last like
hmm
5 minutes of each game more enjoyable. But I mean, yet again, in my opinion, all the primetime games sucked. I'm getting really sick of it. I hate it. Can we please stop this now? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it was it's real hard to predict leading up into the season who's going to be good and who's going to be bad. But you got to do better than what they're doing now currently.
You can flex people out and all that. That's my opinion. Like the what was Monday night? Monday night was the Rams Packers. You knew that was gonna be a terrible
Mm.
game. You could have flexed them out. Like it, you could have, but anyway, let's start talking about week 15 of the NFL schedule.
Yes.
The first game was Thursday night football, the 49ers and the Seahawks. 49ers won 21-13.
Yep.
Uh, Geno Smith looked human. That's my takeaway.
hmm He
Brock Purdy
did.
was amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, Geno finally had, in my opinion, his first truly like, oh, okay, this is why he's Geno Smith. I mean, he still
Yeah.
threw a touchdown, but it wasn't the same Geno Smith that we're used to this season.
No, I mean he was facing a top tier defense, and so you kind of give him a little leeway.
Yeah,
It's not like they got blown out. He didn't have a horrible game. It just wasn't he didn't take over the game, and that's kind of what the Seahawks need is for him to take over. Or I mean, pulling up his stats now, they asked him to throw 44 times. Like, how can a quarterback, when you're asking him to throw almost 50 times in a game, it's just not going to be successful. Kenneth Walker could not get the ball running. Uh, he completed 31% of his pass or 31 sorry, not 31%, 31% or 31 passes. Wow, there we go. And a touchdown, but it wasn't his fault they lost, but he wasn't the reason they won either. So
I mean, we're just
it is
seeing
what it is.
that if they do get a top 5, top 3 pick because of the Broncos losing, they got to draft Jalen Carter or Will Anderson Jr. It's not a
Mhm.
quarterback. It's not a quarterback. This like
Yeah.
this is one of those games where you see like, okay, Geno played fine. Run game could have been played better, but if we had a better defensive line that didn't allow so much yards,
hmm
we could win. So I think this is just proof that they really don't need to go quarterback this
hmm
year.
No, I don't think they do either.
Yeah, so you have Caleb Williams, and I believe his name is Brandon May or something like that next draft. But like you could still
hmm
get Caleb Williams next year if you get the high draft pick.
Yeah.
But next game is the Colts Vikings, where the Colts blow a 33 nothing lead to let the Vikings win 39-36 in the overtime.
I love it.
Oh Jeff
I love it.
Saturday.
I
Oh Jeff
watched this
Saturday.
game. It wasn't necessarily Jeff Saturday, but he went conservative. But I get it. Why you would try to like run the clock when you're up 33 points.
Nah, I
It
hate
makes
that
sense.
mentality. I hate that mentality. I hate it. Kill them.
But
Score
I
60. Score 60. Do it, Jeff
hmm
Saturday. You're an interim head coach. You're not getting another year
Yep.
no matter what. Just ball out and have fun.
No. Yeah. I mean, good job on the Vikings to stay headstrong. Poor Matt Ryan now has the biggest postseason blown out lead and the now the most biggest comeback in regular season as
He
well.
actually he
So,
actually has 1 and 2, the biggest
oh, he has one aim
fumbles.
too.
The Falcons game, the Falcons Patriots was the biggest blown lead, and
Yeah.
it is now the Colts with Matt Ryan now
hmm
has the number 1 blown lead.
Yeah. It,
There's a reason that I
just,
put
yeah.
later on in this in the video. There's a reason I don't believe in the Vikings next week, and that's why I put money against them. They're
Mhm.
not good. They're just not good. Their defense is terrible. It's bad. Like so, I
They're
watched it.
good. They're not great. And to win consistently against really good teams, you're gonna have to be great. And they're not great at any position. They're good at a lot besides wide receiver. Outside of that, they're not great at any position. And that's kind of where maybe you could argue running back, but other than that, they're not. Their defense is average, offensive line's average, quarterback's definitely average.
Well,
It's just
I
it
watched a
is what it
video
is.
by Brett Coleman. He breaks down
Hmm.
like a film. Their defense, they run like zone 80% of the time, and their
They
defense
do.
isn't fit for zone. They run quarter half, where they have a safety in a corner playing half the field in quarters, and
Yep.
then one safety playing half. If you guys don't know, then everyone else is in zone. They don't. They're not a zone defense. They're a man defense. They have very old guys. They can't be
Yep.
running zone because zone is you're by yourself. Like
Hmm.
man, usually you have a safety overhead who can help you out. Zone is if they get past you, it's your fault. And like they have a bunch of
Hmm.
old guys. They have Zadarius Smith lining up in zone,
Hmm.
a pass rusher. Like
Yeah.
it's their defensive
It's
coordinator
just
is gonna get
it's
fired.
not. Yeah, probably. But it just they need to get some youth in the draft this year at defense, and I think they'll be fine. I don't think it's, but I never had them going to the Super Bowl this year.
No, neither did I.
So it's just, I mean, I'm impressed with what they've done. I think it's still a pat on the back, but I think it's starting to come to an end, and that's kind of what
Yeah,
we all expected.
I mean, before the season, I said that they weren't gonna make the playoffs. I said
Hmm.
Justin Jefferson will be really good,
Yep,
but their
he
offense has
has been.
bailed them out. Their offense has
Yeah.
bailed them out a lot of games. This is the game where their offense bailed them out.
Kirk Cousins
It's
has had a really good year, and so it's just he's done what
he
he
always has good
does.
years. He really does this all. Like, he's a
Yeah,
really good, consistent quarterback.
he is.
I would love to have Kirk Cousins as my quarterback because you know what you're gonna get every week.
For the most
Uh,
part, yeah.
yeah. Next up is the Browns Ravens game. 13-3 Browns win. This is a game where you see improvement from Deshaun Watson. Our
Hmm.
defense played really well against a backup. Just overall, pretty decent game from everybody,
Yeah, I mean, he didn't blow him out. Um,
which I'm fine with.
wasn't like which wasn't a 35 point, spread. It just, I mean, it was good defensive battle on both sides that ended with the score that it ended up with. Without Lamar Jackson on the field, it's kind of what you expected. Tyler Huntley did what a backup's going to come out there and do. He was 17 for 30, 138 yards passing, and an interception. I mean,
Which wasn't even his fault.
you
That's the worst part.
no,
The interception wasn't his fault.
yeah, that's what you kind of expect from a backup. And the thing is Deshaun Watson wasn't that much better. He was
No,
18 for 28 and 161 yards and a touchdown. He looked good,
that's the thing.
but like
The
it
eye
wasn't
test.
amazing.
The eye test. Like
Yeah,
okay, he's improving, but the stats
he's
have not backed
improving
him up yet.
slowly. But it was just a good, solid win by Cleveland. I mean, some areas for improvement, and I think they can just tighten it up, and they're still in the playoff race. So it's exciting for Browns fans.
Yeah, I mean we're not making the playoffs. It's no like it's one of those like okay we're not mathematically eliminated,
Mathematically.
but like we need almost everyone else to lose out and us to win out. So if anyone wins one more game, we're eliminated. Like like it is like as of today we're not eliminated, but tomorrow we'll be eliminated. So it's we're just playing to see if Myles Garrett can win Defensive Player of the Year, if Deshaun Watson can improve. Because if we go 5-1 with Deshaun Watson, that's a good pitch for free agents. Of like, hey, look, with Deshaun Watson, our current roster is 5-1. Imagine if a whole 18 game or 18 week with him. That's the pitch you have with free agents and coaches. So I've given up this season. It's all for Myles Garrett winning Defensive Player of the Year. He's number 3 in sacks, number 1 in pressures, number 1 in double team rate, number 1 in win rate. So he gets double team the most and he wins the most. So imagine if he's singled, and if you watch a single one of the games, he's constantly being held every single play. They just don't call it, as they do with Aaron Donald, all the really great pass rushers. They all get held.
Yeah, it is what it is. They did with Khalil Mack too. I mean,
Yep.
there's always three guys just holding him. Even
Yep.
this season, you see. I mean, he's still one of the best pass rushers out in the league. You just people don't notice him because he's kind of got lost in the Chargers.
Yeah.
But he's he was amazing with the Bears. Anyone that actually watched those games when he was there and didn't just look at his stats, he was still probably the best, if not one of the best pass rushers in the league. So yeah, it happens. So I think he deserves Defensive Player of the Year. We'll see how it ends on the rest of the season. So
He would have won it last year if T.J. Watt didn't get 5 sacks in one game. Like against Baker Mayfield, he sacked him 5 times, and that's what it was like one of the last weeks of the season. Sacks him 5 times, ties the record.
how do you when you look at that as TJ Watt and you just how do you look at that when you're a voter and not
Because though they
like
love
he
Watt,
had the
they
most
love the
dominant?
Watt brother. They
Yeah,
love Watt brothers, dude. They love them.
they do.
Like
Yep.
Next season TJ Watt's gonna be in the top three, even though he's actually fun thing that Steelers fans and Browns fans on Twitter constantly debate about. TJ Watts gets double teamed one of the least amount in the NFL, but his win rate is also like an average of the pack. So how he singled one of the most times in the league, but he doesn't win the most. So it's fun to talk about. It's like, well, Myles Garrett, give him a single man. He's a win every time.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
Especially if he's not healthy.
yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah.
You have no idea how angry it is to see it, and you just go like, yeah, can't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Next is the Bills and Dolphins. That was a great game, 32-29.
It
That was genuinely a great. I love like that was probably the best game that day.
Yeah.
Because the Vikings, you could turn off the Vikings game, and like if you saw they won, go, oh well, it's Matt Ryan. What do you expect? Like, but this is like this. Tua played well. Josh Allen played well. The running game for the Dolphins finally showed up with Raheem Mostert going for over 130. Tyreek Hill, a little bit of a down game, but still, almost 80 yards. But yeah, I thought it was, fighting for the division. I believe the Bills actually locked up the AFC East.
Yeah, I think they might have. If they haven't, they're like a game away from doing it.
Yeah, I think if the Dolphins would have won, they would have been one game behind. Yeah, no, the Bills did lock up the AFC East. They have it.
Yep.
So they have a home playoff game. So good for the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Good for Josh Allen.
Yep.
Uh,
That is really good for them.
yeah, one of my favorite games of the weekend. Eagles Bears.
Yeah. It was exciting.
I loved that game. That was a great game.
Yeah. We played within below 5 points of the best team in the NFL. This is where you were arguing the Bears should be in the bottom five. They're not a bottom five team. Their record says they are, but them as a team, like when Justin Fields goes off, when this defense actually shows up, they can play with any team in the NFL. And they showed it this week. They lost, and the Eagles win. It's sad, but
It's the Eagles.
we now have the second overall pick.
Yeah.
So like,
and you can trade down. You can get Jalen Carter. Like there's a bunch.
No, we'll trade down. If we don't trade down, I'm gonna be really upset because there's teams that will give away their whole everything to get a QB, and we don't need a QB.
Dude,
there you go.
Apparently there's a bunch of them like draft scouts. They're saying that CJ Stroud's gonna fall. They're saying like he's gonna fall to 10, like what Justin Fields did. Like they're serious.
I've seen in some like mock drafts where people have been going out and they've like been evaluating him falling even into the teens and late teens because it's just some teams don't need QBs or some teams don't really like Ohio State QBs. It's just kind of where it's at.
Even Bryce Young is there's even conversation that the Texans might not go Bryce Young because of his size. And I'm like, guys, okay, now we're getting too far. I can see Stroud falling. Bryce Young ain't falling. Like, come on. But the Eagles almost lost to the Bears.
They did.
Like
they're not the best team in the NFL. I don't know who is, and I even think I have them still ranked number one because they won. Like you can't give them loss when, like, they're gonna get eliminated in the playoffs, and they'll be good next year. They have a bright future. They're just not that team yet this season, which they're 13-1, so you can't say that much bad about them. But
yeah, I don't know if they could get eliminated. I don't know if they could get eliminated in the playoffs because the whole point, like in my eyes, to really win a Super Bowl, you have to win the bad games, like the Lions did this week. Like the Lions won it's a bad game, but they found a way to win, and that's in my eyes that's what makes a playoff team a playoff team. The Bears had a chance to win, didn't do it. That's the difference between being a playoff team and not a playoff team.
I personally think I really hope this isn't found out. I really think we're throwing games, same as Miami was a few years. I really honestly.
What are you throwing for? What are you throwing for?
The top pick to get traded down, but I think they're throwing to get a top pick. But we're up 20 points against Green Bay, and then we somehow forget how to play offense and defense. It's not going to happen. I really believe truly that we're throwing games, and I really hope that that's not the case because it's embarrassing and it's just not good sportsmanship. But every team does it. I mean, when they're in that spot, when they're eliminated from the playoffs, you're gonna play more conservative. But
Have you seen the Texans? have you seen the Texans play, bro? They are not giving up. They almost beat the Chiefs this week.
yeah, no, they're not, and that's where I lose if that it does come out. I lose a lot of respect for the GM and the coaching staff and everyone
Yeah.
on that. Same as when I did for Miami. Like it's just that's gross. You should be playing to win every week. But that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, the great game to watch. I was very happy that Justin Fields played that well. Because that's all I want. I agree with you. I'm not a Bears fan, but I love Justin Fields. I want him to succeed. And like seeing him play so good but still lose gives me hope. I'm like, awesome. Yep. When you guys start winning, he's gonna be special.
He is.
Yeah. Next is. Yeah. No. Yeah. Trade down for Peter Skoronski for Paris Johnson. Even if you can even trade back up for Cyrus Torrance, like you guys just rebuild the offensive line in the first round. And yeah, they need to. Ryan Poles. Lions Jets 2017 Lions win.
Yep.
Keep pounding. I'm so happy. It's all I want is a Lions win.
One of the best. Yeah, they are still in the playoff hunt, and I love it. And I really want them to make the playoffs now because I really want to see just like a Lions conference championship because they're that good of a team.
And still get a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
It's still them and the Eagles. That's all I'm rooting for. Is like I want them in the championship, and then they both have top 5 picks.
It's been exciting. I'm a bandwagon fan this year.
Yep.
I'm 100% all the way Lions fan. We're from Michigan. I feel like it's not totally bandwagon because we're rooting for the home team, but it's still I'm 100%.
Every time they win, I can just imagine everyone we know just like, finally! 30, 40 years of torment just to finally win a game. Yeah, no, this is a special team. It's a special team.
It's a special team.
They're the NFL's darling.
Yeah, and they are. And it's going to be really good offseason because they did do what they did. Now, hey, go into free agency, into the draft, and be like, hey, this is what we did with the roster we have now.
Yep.
You join, we'll be this much better. Look at our division.
This is the last year of not trying to win a Super Bowl. This is the last year. Like, they're not winning a Super Bowl this year. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. They're not winning a Super Bowl. But, like, this is the last year of you're bad. Like, from now on, you're going to be in the lead of the NFC North because the Vikings are about to go through a rebuild because their defense is terrible. Packers are about to go through a turmoil. Bears just are a few years away. I don't think they'll do a 1-year turnaround. You have a chance to win the NFC North next year. You have a chance. Go all out.
Those should be favored to win the NFC North next year.
Yeah,
I think the Vikings are going to run it back.
No.
And the Green Bay is not going to do it. I mean, they just don't have the player. They don't have the personnel.
At the end of the season, I'll put $25 that they win the NFC North. Because then I have a real reason to root for them all next year. Because that payout has to be amazing. If you put like at the very end of the season, say the Lions gonna win the division. Like I love Dan Campbell. I love Dan Campbell.
I do. He's definitely bought himself another year, which is awesome. We get to hear about kneecaps for another year.
Oh yeah. Have you watched their end of game like in the locker room videos? Dude, I want him as a coach so bad.
I do too.
Like he's crying, he's emotional.
I don't think there's a single team in the NFL that would almost barring like the Andy Reid and barring like, there's no team's gonna be trading a top 5 head coach, but barring like any coach that's in question right now are like kind of. I don't think there's any team in the NFL that would prefer their coach over Campbell right now, and he's done an amazing job flipping this Lions team.
Yeah, the culture is completely different, and like that's something that people don't talk about. They say the players change the culture. It's the coach. Yep. Like it is 100% the coach.
He sets the culture.
Yeah, that's why like people have problems with like Kevin Stefanski. He's so calm. Like he could be in the middle of a hurricane and still be, guys, we got this. All right, we can do this. And people don't like that. They're like, I don't want that culture. I want a Dan Campbell. That's the whole point. Is the coach sets the culture, and they get rid of the players that don't fit the culture. And Dan Campbell's done an amazing job.
Yes.
Next is the Steelers Panthers. Man, come on, Carolina. I want the Steelers are constantly like every time like, oh, Browns get a win. Ah, Steelers gotta win, man. It's like it's constantly the AFC North. Every time we win, everyone wins. So it's like, oh, it doesn't even matter. It didn't even matter. Like, the playoff like, doesn't matter whatsoever because everyone wins. But the Panthers, they're showing fight. I think that's important for Steve Wilkes.
They are. Yep. I'm really excited about the Steelers. Mike Tomlin's still not out of the never having a losing regular season. I think
Well,
he's
they got a
ready
tough
for that.
schedule, man. They got a tough schedule
They
coming up.
do, but they're still in it, and that I love it. They're gonna probably have a losing record.
Well, even 8-9, I'll still say he doesn't have a losing record. I'll still say it. Like 8-9, come on, it's 8-8. Like let's be honest here.
He does. I feel like the extra game, even though we'll see.
Yeah,
Really
they have Raiders at home. They go to the Ravens, and then they have Browns at home. That Week 18 game, dude, for the Browns and Steelers, they could
lose out. That's the crazy thing, is they could win out or they could lose out. Like I could very much see all of those games going either way.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
and no matter what, I'll still be happy Mike Tomlin has a job. Chiefs Texans.
Please
wow.
don't fire Lovie Smith.
I'm all for him staying. Like,
please give him one more year with a decent quarterback and like more personnel. This team will be an above 500 team. Just give him a chance.
Yeah, Davis Mills needs a starting job somewhere next year. The Buccaneers, they gotta trade for Davis Mills. Gardner Minshew, Davis Mills, Jacoby Brissett. Those are the top three like bridge quarterbacks next year. And like Davis Mills deserves a job next year because they're gonna draft a quarterback. Like he deserves a job somewhere. Yeah, and the Chiefs, I think it's just a bad week for them. I do have the Seahawks beating them next week, just because I think the Seahawks are just a good team. I think they're gonna rebound. So the Chiefs, they do win again. Like I said, championship level teams win the bad games. They played bad the entire game and they still won. And that's what changes between a bad team and a good team. So good on the Chiefs.
This is where the NFL is different than college. The worst team in the NFL right now played arguably one of the best, if not the best. Like the Chiefs could be definitely argued into that top spot right now. They played them within a touchdown.
Yep.
That's how the NFL is different from any other league. It's literally one score difference from, and it's crazy. That's crazy that can even happen.
Yeah, I completely agree that that's why any NFL team would beat Alabama. Like any NFL team would beat Alabama. Because guess what? Everyone from Alabama, everyone in Alabama goes to the NFL. Not everyone in the NFL goes to Alabama. Like it's an NFL team would wipe the floor with any college team.
Yeah. Take the best college players when they were still in college, give the best college coach. I still would take an NFL team over them just because you're going to have more education, better coaches, more experienced players. You get better as you get into the NFL. It's just it is what it is, but not to belittle anything, but yeah.
It's not belittling, it's just facts that like we just saw the Texans almost beat one of the best teams in the NFL any given Sunday. Yeah, that doesn't happen in college football. That just doesn't happen. Saints Falcons 21-18. Saints win. I didn't watch the game.
I didn't either. It was kind of a low radar game, for good reason. Both of these teams are pretty much out of the playoffs, and both of these coaches could be fired this offseason. So I mean, good job Saints, but I would.
They're technically still in the division. They're technically still in the division run. I'm just saying, like the Bucks are 6-8 right now. The Saints could still win out, and the Bucks lose out, and they make the playoffs.
They could. I still don't. It's not gonna happen. I would put good money on the Bucks still winning out. Like Tom Brady's got too much passion to lose out in a NFL season. It's not gonna happen.
Odds on the Bucks going 7-10 and win the Super Bowl.
Since Tom Brady's on that team, I would give it like a 1-10.
Okay, that's enough for Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Jags Cowboys, A+ game. I told you, man. I don't know if I don't know if I had the Jags winning last week. I probably didn't. Let's be honest. I probably did. No,
No.
I did. No, I know I did. I know I did. Hold up. I'm going to that video. I know I did actually because I changed it last minute. Hold up.
You might have.
I remember.
I don't think I disagreed with you either. I
Mixed
think
picks of the week.
because I
Hold
don't
up.
believe in the Cowboys.
I have the thumbnail. Hold on. I know I have it. I think I changed my mind last minute. I said, nah, the Jags are probably gonna win this one. 12th. Here it is. I did. Let's go. Oh, I feel so good. I chose an upset. Oh my god, sorry. I suck at choosing upsets, so that makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. Jags beat the Cowboys. The pick 6 from Rayshawn Jenkins. A+ game.
Yep. Was 100%. I watched a little bit of this game. Trevor Lawrence looked good. Cowboys looked mediocre, like the Cowboys do. Cowboys defense still needs some help. They got some good
In the
young
secondary.
players, but
In the secondary, they need
they
help.
need secondary help for sure. It's scary. I think they're a good team. I think they need a new coach. I think it's very hard to say that he shouldn't be fired this year, but I think he might have bought himself a year with just the record that he has. But you go one and done in the playoffs, I think he's done. But we'll see.
Brian
But yeah,
Branch.
good week by yep.
Yeah,
We'll
good
see.
week. Good week. Not Cowboys. Broncos Cardinals. Again, didn't watch it.
I watched parts of it just to see the two of the worst teams in the NFL face off against each other.
Wait,
And it just
did
uh
uh did Russ throw a touchdown?
yeah, I think so.
Does that mean he has 12 touchdowns to his 12
Wait,
bathrooms? Brett Ripien played. It wasn't Russ.
it wasn't Russ.
Still 11 touchdowns to his 12 bathrooms. It's a shame.
I didn't think Russ played this week. I didn't see him, but
Because
that's
I
what
thought he was
remember.
concussed.
Yeah, I think he plays next week, but I think he was out this week. So, and the Broncos won. I mean, good job, Broncos. You beat a very bad Cardinals team.
That probably is gonna fire their
Congratulations.
head coach. Oh, did you see their GM? What was it? When they were in Mexico City, their offensive line coach got arrested and fired from the team because apparently he assaulted a woman down there. But him and Steve Keim, their GM, are twins. And apparently the offensive line coach has evidence it wasn't him. So Steve Keim, the same day that report comes out, has medical conditions and has to step away from the team.
Interesting.
If the offensive line coach has proof it wasn't him, and him and Steve Keim are literal twins,
That's big.
and the same day that report comes out that it wasn't the offensive line
Well,
coach,
his job is in question already. If that happens, he's gone. Cardinals get a new GM, new coach.
which they should,
Maybe
do that.
yeah, which they should. They should just restart. They got a good young quarterback. Get a new coach for him.
Yeah, get him
We'll see.
a good college coach, right? Don't
Yeah.
hire NFL coaches.
Well, unless there's a good young guy that blows you away, but we'll see.
Raiders, Patriots.
I love this game.
I was actually
I
at
love the way it ended.
Applebee's. I was at
Were you?
Applebee's and I was watching. It's like I was eating. I was half watching.
Uh,
I'm eating. So it's like spaghetti. And that's not spaghetti. It's like mac and cheese and chicken. It's like penne though.
mhm.
So it's penne.
Yeah.
So I was eating it. I look up at the camera eating. I see Jacoby Myers like, oh, he's a lateral back trying to win the game. Intercepted. Stiff arm Mac Jones down. I'm like, no. My dad goes, what? I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Best ending of the year, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
Minty beats Mentor on a interception / fumble ish type situation. It was amazing. Just what are you doing? Go to overtime.
Yeah,
Come
I mean,
on.
if this tanks Jacoby Myers off-season want for money, I'm fine with the Browns offering him, I don't know, $2 million a year if you want, if it's so bad that no one wants him. But that's what an ending. What an ending. Like,
It was amazing.
the Jets have had some really good endings this year, but I think this takes the cake. This has to take the cake for the best ending.
I just because the historic like matchup between two of guys that work together for 20 plus years going at each other. It was great.
Yeah.
Um, Raiders are playing for something. They're playing for their pride. Uh,
Well, again, they're
and
not
they show it.
eliminated either. They're not eliminated either.
Nope,
A bunch of
nope, they
AFC
are not.
teams are not eliminated.
Nope. We'll see.
Yeah, next is the Chargers Titans. Chargers win 17-14. There's a hard fought game. Just
Plus,
normal game, you
the
know.
Titans aren't a bad team. They're not a good team though, and I think they showed it. I think the better team won this week. And I think that's the correct like amount that the Chargers is better than the Titans. I think it's that close, and I don't think the Titans deserved a playoff spot this year. So I'm fine with them losing against the Chargers here.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna win because of their division, unless like the Jags actually like kick it in a gear, and this isn't just like some 5 week stretch. If they continue this out, they're gonna win the division. But right now, the Titans still lead the division, I believe, by 1 game. So we'll see. You know, I don't think they deserve a playoff game either. I think the Jags have shown that they deserve it more with Trevor Lawrence.
Mhm.
But
I think the Jags deserve it way more with what they've done.
a lot of
But
impressive
we'll see.
wins.
Yeah.
Bengals Bucks. Uh, I still love the image of Tom Brady at 17-0 at halftime, him smiling into the camera, just to
Yeah.
let 34 points up in the second half and
Hmm.
only score 6.
Yep.
Tom Brady's got to leave.
Oh, he is leaving. I don't think that's even in question anymore in anyone's mind besides maybe the Buccaneers praying to God that he's not leaving
Yeah, he's he's
because
he's got to
they
walk.
are quarterback situation. If he's gone, dear Lord, who are you going to start? And who are you going to go get? Uh,
Yeah,
we'll see.
they've got to he's got to walk, whether it's retire or go to another team. The
He's not
40
retiring at this point, and so if he's still playing at the way, I think he's going to have a similar situation to Peyton Manning had, where he literally cannot throw the ball anymore before he retires. If there's any chance of him still being competitive and still maybe making a playoff run, he's going to be in the NFL. It's
49ers.
just,
He's going to the 49ers. I'm calling it now. Trey Lance still
I don't think
recovering from the ACL tear. He's going to the 49ers.
it could be. It depends on that. And then I really like him in a few spots. The 49ers is all right, but I would really love to see him in just the most random place. You know who he was rumored to before the Bears got a quarterback was the Bears because he really liked that division because that division sucks. Who's an
AFC
upcoming
South.
team? Who's an up and coming team in that division that has all the pieces besides arguably a quarterback? The Lions. I would love to see Tom Brady with the Lions. He was
It's
a
too
Michigan
cold.
Wolverine going back to
It's too
Michigan.
cold. It's too
They're an
cold.
indoor stadium. It's an indoor stadium.
Yeah, but the Packers aren't. The Bears aren't.
You
Uh,
have one game. Oh, okay, no, so you have two games that aren't indoors.
plus a bunch of the NFC teams have open top stadiums. I would rather go to the NFC West because like what you have Geno Smith, you can beat Geno
Hmm.
Smith. You have
So,
NFC West. Oh, Kyler Murray, you can beat the Cardinals. You're the 49ers. What's the other team? The
Matthew
Rams.
Stafford.
Yeah, come on, bro. Like, come on now. That is an easy division to win with the 49ers. You like
No, it's just a question of whether they're gonna want to add a fourth quarterback into that quarterback controversy right now.
no, I think Jimmy G's gone. I think he's gone after this year. I think the Jets will take him. I think
Jimmy
Trey
G wants to be here,
I don't care.
there though.
I
So
don't care.
if he wants to be there,
If Tom Brady writes me an email saying, "Hey John Lynch, can I
he
come
already did.
join you?"
He did. They didn't want him.
Yeah, I don't think they want Trey Lance anymore. I don't think they want him
I don't
anymore.
think they do either. But I think out of Brock Purdy and Jimmy G, the most likely starter for the next season is probably Brock Purdy. But I
Or Tom
think Jimmy
Brady.
G wins that over Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. I'm telling you, that's where he's going. Giants Commanders
I,
20-12. Again, dude, I don't watch half these games because they all suck. It's just they're all terrible.
I mean, it wasn't a bad game. I watched parts of it, but I mean, Giants win. It is what it is. I think the Giants are better than the Commanders this year.
Although there's a lot of calls that went the Giants' way that game. There was a lot
Yeah.
of I mean the last 2 plays of the game, pass interference. Have you seen the image of him literally holding
Hmm.
his arms down? That's PI. Like
The
they
Giants right now. what I love, the Giants are a real fun team next year because they currently in 2023, if they signed no players, which they will, but if they sign no players right now, in the offseason, they have 58 million in cap space.
It's actually not a lot.
It's not
Because
a lot, but
you
it's
got to pay a
enough to
quarterback.
do
You
some
got
damage.
you got to pay a quarterback, whether it's Daniel Jones or someone else. You got to pay Saquon. You got to get a receiver, and you got to get a corner.
Which do they pay? I don't know. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but I don't. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely a debate. It is a debate.
Yeah.
Rams Packers last game of the week. God, it's
Mm-hmm.
just I sent a voice memo to our fantasy football chats. Let me pull it up. I'll read word for what I said. I said, "Wait, Baker threw an INT and lost," and then why is it not playing? Hold up, I'm waiting for it. There we go. So I asked that in the fantasy football chat, and then I recorded this.
Yeah.
I am the ultimate hater of Baker Mayfield, so I don't think I
Yeah.
should talk on this game. If you want, if you want to talk in this game,
I mean, it's his second week there. You can't give him too much grief for it. They have a bunch of injuries. The Packers should have won this game, and they did. That's at the end of the game. That's what it should be remembered as. I don't think it should be remembered as Baker threw the game. I think it should be remembered as the Packers should have won this game, and they did. So
I'm gonna go to an image real quick. This is an image from this last game that just happened. Um,
yep.
Not NFL QB. I'm trying to find the image. Why is it October 30th? Baker, Rams, Packers. There's an image of a wide open receiver. That's porn. I typed in Baker, Rams, Packers. That's porn. Don't like that. So I don't think I'm gonna be able to find it. There was basically an image of Baker Mayfield in the pocket, perfect protection, and 3 open Rams receivers. You want to know what he did? He ran for 2 yards instead of throwing an open receiver. So Baker's not an NFL quarterback. I'll say it.
He's a backup NFL quarterback, and I think that's what it is now.
I
And I
want
think
him
that's
in the
the way he's seen.
XFL. I want him in the USFL. I want him in the AAF. I don't want him in the NFL. If he goes to one of these spring leagues, he's the best quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, just go to one of the spring leagues and get paid a shoot ton of money, a lot of money, get paid a lot of money to play on the XFL, and just be the MVP of the XFL. I'll say it. That would be a better career move for him than staying as an NFL backup.
Or going to like a Canadian Football League, something like that.
Yeah, like stay in the States, become the MVP of one of these spring leagues, and if you want, make a comeback. But like star in one of these spring leagues and get like all the fame and money you can, and then come back.
Not to mention you could come back, like you just said, and then come back to an NFL team after that. Go do it for 3 or 4 years, and then come back and have a swan song of well, not even Kurt Warner. I think he's not going to have that good of a swan song. Like, I don't think he's going to have that.
I mean, like Kurt Warner, wasn't he in the Arena Football League?
Isn't that what it was? But I think Kurt Warner is a much better quarterback than Baker is.
Well, you'd be surprised how many Browns fans think the opposite.
No. But the thing is, I think Kurt Warner is probably still a better quarterback right now than Baker Mayfield is. Yeah, so, but I think he could still be a serviceable quarterback down the stretch and like win a few playoff games and have a cool story at the end.
Yeah, that was our reactions to the last week's games. Moving on to next week's games with Nick's picks of the. Oh, I just closed it. Nick's picks of the week. I have a couple upsets that I decided to do because this is where teams who are on the fringe of the NFL playoffs have to make their run. Like, they have to win out. So I think there's going to be a lot of teams playing for a lot of different things. So I think there's going to be teams that just want to win more than other teams. Plus, like there's teams already locked up a playoff positioning. So not everyone is playing, or not everyone's going to be playing with their heart out. So do you have it open on your side just so you can see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So starting out, Jags Jets. I have the Jags winning. I think the Jags win
Hmm.
out. I truly believe they'll win out and they'll win that division. They're
Yeah.
just they're playing better than everyone else in that division. They deserve a home playoff game. Like Trevor
Yep.
Lawrence is playing outstandingly.
Yep. Doug Peterson's a really good coach,
Yeah, he
and
should have never been
the
fired.
fact that he should. I mean, I don't blame the Eagles for firing him, just because it was back-to-back years of like sub performance. But I, yeah,
I mean, they're
he's
not
good
mad
coach.
either. They're not mad. They're 13-1 right now, so they're not mad about
Yeah.
it.
No, but yeah, no, he's a good coach, and I think they will probably win out too. So yeah, that's not surprising.
Yeah, a surprising game I'm choosing is the Texans over the Titans. The Texans last week almost beat the Chiefs. Lovie Smith is playing for his job, and a lot of those guys on that roster are playing for the future job. Like when you're on a team that goes one win or two wins, you got to show out so you can get a job in the future in the NFL. Otherwise, you're gonna get
Yeah.
cut. They're like, well, you're on a one-win team. You're not good. Like, why would we want you on our team? So there's a lot of guys playing for a lot right now, and I think that the Texans right now are just playing better than the Titans. The Titans seem to have settled this year, and that they've kind of just accepted it's a bad
They've
year.
kind of just accepted their fate,
Yeah,
and this is honestly, I think this was their last year to kind of have a Super Bowl window. I think they're kind of out of it after this year. So,
where Ryan Tannehill's contract is not guaranteed after this year. They can cut him
nope,
and save like
they can.
$31 million. It's some massive like 31 or $35 million you
Yeah,
can
so
save.
I mean, they could cut him and then go and get a good quarterback like Jimmy G or someone in the free agency pool.
Rock
Tom
Malik
Brady.
Willis for a year, and if you guys suck, you get Caleb Williams. That's what I would do. Just rock with Malik
Mhm.
Willis. Bengals Patriots. I have the Bengals winning. I think the Bengals win out. I think they win a division easily. As much
Yep.
as I love the Ravens, I think the Bengals just are gonna win. They're better right now.
I think Joe Burrow sees the division in his eyesight, and I don't think he's gonna let go of it.
Yep, that's exact.
Uh,
I completely agree.
I think he sees it and he's like, "Ooh, Lamar Jackson's hurt. My legacy depends on me winning a few division titles. This is the year to do it," and I think he does.
Because I don't think they won the division last year. I think they were the fifth seed when they went
Yeah,
to
I
the
don't
Super
think they did
Bowl.
either. I
I don't.
think who won? Was it the
Ravens.
Ravens or
It was
was
the
it the
Ravens.
Steelers?
I think we
It
had.
was the Ravens.
I think we had three. I'm gonna make sure. They might have won. I don't think they had a home playoff game though. 2021 playoffs.
It was close. I know that.
NFL, not NBA. I think the Ravens won a division. The Bengals were the
Mhm.
5 seed, and the Steelers were the 7th seed. I think it was that. I just want to make sure. 2021 playoffs bracket. There we go. That's only for the bracket. No,
No, they won the
Cincinnati.
division.
Yeah, Cincinnati won it. Wow, I
They
didn't know
were
they won
ten
it.
and seven. Steelers were 9-7. Cleveland was even above Baltimore.
Yep, we were 9-8, or 8-9 or
Yep,
something like that.
8-9. They were 8-9.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
mean,
remember now. Baltimore choked at the end.
yeah, I'm not surprised. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, the Bengals are very good. They should win a division easily.
Yep.
Raiders Steelers. That's a hard game. I have the Raiders winning. That's a hard game though.
It is.
Like that could go either way, and those are both teams fighting for the playoffs right now.
Mm-hmm.
That should be in prime time. That should be a prime time game.
Mm-hmm.
Chargers Colts Chargers.
Yep.
Moving on. JT's injured, so Bills
Mm-hmm.
Bears. As much as I want to see the Bears, it's gonna be the Bills.
Come on.
Dude, you don't understand how much I want to pick the Bears to win like their games. They're not winning any games.
They're
Like, yeah, you guys
I'd be
might.
very surprised.
Well,
I'd be very surprised.
with the Texans winning, you guys might get the number one draft pick. Imagine that.
No, we're still a game behind.
Yeah, but like I'm just saying, like if the Texans win one or two more games, you guys could technically get the number one pick.
We need we need to lose out, and the Texans need to win a few, and
Hey,
then
it's possible.
maybe it
Well,
is.
what year was that? The Jaguars. They were like it was a tank for Trevor year.
Mm-hmm.
They had like
Yeah.
one win in the last month. They won out and were like 4-13 or 4-12. Like it is
Yeah,
possible.
but they didn't tank. They did it all because they sucked. They 100% tanked for.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it's just no way.
Yeah.
But oh well.
Seahawks Chiefs. I have the Seahawks winning. I actually again another we have a topic later. I'll explain why. But I think the Seahawks. I have a good feeling about them this week. I have a very good feeling about Geno Smith this week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's an upset just because the Seahawks are a
They're actually only
few games out of the
the
playoffs.
Chiefs are only
if not
minus
in.
150. So it's a
Yeah.
very close betting game. So like
Yeah.
no one thinks it'll be a blowout.
No, I don't think it will be either. I still think Kansas City wins, but I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle pulls it off. I'll put it that way. They're
Yeah.
one game out of the playoffs now. They're playing for something. I can see it happening.
Yeah. Ravens Falcons. As much as I want to have the Falcons winning, Lamar Jackson's back this week, and Lamar Jackson is enough to win an NFL game. Like just him himself can win you a game. So I have Lamar Jackson winning that game, and the Bears. Not the Bears. The Browns Saints. I have the Browns winning, but I'm not confident.
I think they'll win it. Just because I have no faith whatsoever in the Saints. You're both 12th in your conference.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I think I want Jarvis Landry to go off. I love Jarvis Landry. I want him back. I want him to go for 2 touchdowns over 100 yards. But they still lose.
Actually aren't horribly eliminated from the Miami's.
There's a lot of there's a whole so every year, right? We're always in this situation where we need math to work out for us to make the playoffs. Almost every year, there's a Twitter.
You're one
page.
game out.
We're one game out, but the problem is everybody's one game out. look at the AFC. Everyone is either 5-9, 6-8, or 7-7.
Yeah,
everybody.
That's tough because if the Jags lose, then the Jets win. That's tough.
So there's a whole Twitter page that is about the Browns making the playoffs, and they're Twitter's silent the entire year. But once the Browns need math, they start posting again. So he's posting again, and he has all these different ways of making the playoffs, and it always includes at least 2 teams losing out, and we win out.
Yep.
So basically, if any AFC team who's in the playoff hunt, if 2 of them lose out and we win out, we're in the playoffs. But I don't know a single AFC team in the hunt right now could lose out and we win out.
I think the Patriots could lose out.
And that's the one that everyone is saying. The Patriots and the Raiders. That's what everyone is saying right now is the 2 teams. But the Ravens, they could lose out. The Bengals. I mean, they're not going to lose out. The Steelers could lose out.
100%. Miami could lose out.
Miami. I thought I was looking for Miami.
Chargers could lose out. Titans could lose out.
It's possible. I don't care though.
You're not making the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't. Aaron. Yeah. I don't want to make the playoffs. That's the difference. Yeah. I want my suffering to be over this year. I'm done. I said weeks ago, I'm clocked out of this season. I'm only watching for Myles Garrett to win Defensive Player of the Year, Nick Chubb to get the rushing title, and Deshaun Watson to improve. I don't care.
I'm watching on the fact that the Bears are 2 games out of winning the overall top 5.
Which would be amazing for you guys. That'd be amazing.
It would be incredible, but
let's say because the Texans would have to trade you their 2 picks this year and probably their 2 picks next year, which is 2 Browns picks. So you would then be rooting for my team to lose, which would be a lot of fun next year. Of oh my gosh, that'd be a lot of fun. I hope you guys get the number 1 pick. But I have the Browns winning. Packers Miami, because I'm a hater, I need Packers to win. I need Miami to lose out, so I'm choosing the Packers.
I don't think that's a bad pick, but I still think Miami wins that game. Yeah. If they lose that game, they're losing out, because that is a very winnable game. The Packers have been embarrassing. Are the Packers even in the playoff hunt?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
They are, but they are barely in the playoff hunt.
They are the same way in the playoffs that we are, where they need a bunch of math to go their way.
Yeah. The Lions are in a better position than they are right now.
Oh yeah, no, the Lions 100% are in a better position. Yeah. So this is the game I put money on. Broncos Rams. I have the Rams winning. Did you know that the Broncos and the Rams are the 2 worst scoring offenses? 15 points and 16 points. Their over and under is 35 points. If you combine their average, it is 31 points. So I have the under on that game because I'm no way they score 35 points that game. No way. Both defenses are too good to those terrible offenses. So I think it'll be a really low scoring game.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't disagree with you.
And then the true upset this week, I have the Giants over the Vikings. The Vikings, they almost lost to the Colts. They have the
Hmm.
worst point differential in the league. The Giants just won against the Washington Commanders, who had a better defense, and in my opinion, overall have a better offense. Overall, um, I like the Giants in this game.
I don't think that's crazy. I really don't. I could see it going either way, but I think ultimately, yeah. I think I don't disagree with you.
Yeah. Lions Panthers. I have the Lions winning because I just want them to win out and make the playoffs. The 49ers against the Washington Commanders. That's a game I think you want to watch. That's two of the best defenses in the league against two of the average offenses in the league. That could either be a massive scoring game or one of the
Yep.
worst scoring games. So that's a very fun game to watch. I think I'm gonna watch that game for sure.
Hmm.
And then the Eagles Cowboys. Again, the Eagles are not betting favorites because Gardner Minshew is still slated to start, but they've said
Hmm.
Jalen Hurts might become a last minute starter. Like he might start last minute.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I that's a game that I put money on because I'm like, well, I like Gardner
Hmm.
Minshew. He's thrown 2 touchdowns his last 4 games he's played. And if it's Jalen Hurts, they win. Just straight up, if it's
Yep.
Jalen Hurts, they win that game. So I like no matter
Hmm.
what that game the Eagles winning. What do you think?
I think Gardner Minshew has proven he's a solid backup, and so even if they start him, I think they're gonna win.
Yeah, he's just in my opinion, he's good enough to keep this Eagles offense moving. I think that's the best way to say it.
Yep.
And then the Buccaneers, Cardinals, Bucks.
Yep.
Yeah, man, so many teams just suck this year. Yeah, that was Nick's picks of the week for week 13. What's the next topic? I need to bring it back up. I think
I
it's one
have
of
it pulled up
yours.
either.
Oh, it's Aaron's top 10, bottom five.
All right, yep, I can do that real quick. All right. So this week we got some change ups to the top 10 bottom 5. Starting off this week's list in the number 10 spot, moving quite a bit down the list and they 100% deserve it. It is the Cowboys. They are the 10th best team right now in the NFL. I couldn't find a team that I really wanted to put above them or they'd completely be off the list. They're an embarrassment. Uh They need a new coach. We already talked about that. They need lot of new pieces, but I think 100% they are the 10th best team, if not worse than that. But I'll give them the 10th spot for now. Next we have the New York Jets coming in at number 9. They lost this week, but I still think they're a better winnable team than the Cowboys. So that's where I have it. Nick, you have any thoughts on those first two?
No, I agree.
Alrighty, then moving right on to the number 8 spot. We have the Chargers. All right. The Chargers were made their first appearance on the list last week. They've been winning. They are a playoff team as of right now. I think they're better than the Cowboys and the Jets. That's why I have them at 8. So at number 7, my former number 1 team, it is the Vikings.
Vikings. Yep.
Even though they came back from a 33-point deficit, they've still shown a lot of errors this year. I can't confidently put them above any of these teams that I have coming up. So number 7 is the Vikings. Nick, any comments on those last two teams?
The Vikings defense sucks.
Yeah,
If
100%. That's
any
yeah,
team who lets up 33 points in one half, not good defense.
yeah.
I don't care if you only
Yep.
held them to 6 points the next half.
But here's the thing. Right now, I would still take the Vikings over the Chargers, and I would still take the Vikings over the Jets and Cowboys. So
Yeah, but
that's
like,
kind of
you can't be a top five team with a
no,
defense who lets up
you
33
can't.
points to Matt Ryan.
No, period. That's just it's not gonna work.
Yeah,
Um, Coming up in our number 6, it is the 49ers, San Francisco 49ers. They've played well with a plethora of different quarterbacks. You know, Brock Purdy's their guy now. Uh, they're exciting and they're still a Super Bowl favorite, and I love it, even though that their starting quarterback has not played pretty much half of the season now. So it's great to still see them as competitive as what they are. Number five, starting off our top five teams in the NFL, we have number five, we have the Chiefs.
Cool.
This is a controversial, um, but I'll make my argument after we say the other four teams. Nick, any statements or comments on the 49ers and Chiefs there?
No, Chiefs are right. I don't think it's a controversial. I mean, they almost lost to the
Yep.
Texans, so
Yep.
they got to drop. They
That
got to drop down a little
yeah,
bit. Just
they dropped down a little bit. I still think they're borderline one of the best teams in the NFL, but I think once you start getting into the top five, any of those teams could make an argument for it being the best team in the NFL.
yeah.
So, number four, this is where I'm gonna catch some heat, but I don't even care. I don't think I'll even catch that much heat because I think it's true. I have the Lions at number four.
Oh, I think so.
Um,
You said I think it said Chicago Bears. Like if you
no,
put the Bears at
now,
4, okay.
nah, it's the Lions, man.
Yep. I'm agree. I agree.
The, the Bears are not a top 10 team. They're definitely not a bottom five team. They're definitely not a top 10 team though.
Because you said
The Lions,
at first, like, oh no
yep,
way, no way. Just
yeah, it's the Lions. I think the Lions would beat the Chiefs, 49ers, Vikings, Chargers, Jets, and Cowboys now. I think they could even beat the top three teams. I think heading into the playoffs and there's not a single team in the NFL that hopes to play the Lions, and that's what a top NFL team means. It's to be people praying and hoping that they're not going to have to face you come playoff time. So, any comments on the Chiefs and Lions there?
so I'm gonna pull up the 2019 Tennessee Titans. I wanna
Mm-hmm.
I wanna pull up their game log. There it is. I was looking for game log. So the 2019 Tennessee Titans, I think, are the 2022 Detroit Lions. Uh,
Yep.
they caught hot after they swapped into Ryan Tannehill. So from week 10 on, they were 5-2, which got them to 9-7. In the playoffs, you didn't want to face them because they were red hot with Derrick Henry,
Yep.
who finally started playing good. They beat the
Mm-hmm.
Patriots in week 1. They beat the Baltimore, which was MVP Lamar Jackson. They beat him in the
Mm-hmm.
divisional, and they lost to the
Yep.
Chiefs barely. I think the
Yep.
Lions are the perfect example of the 2019 Titans. They
Yep.
catching hot at the right moments. They're a team you don't want to face because their run game, their passing game, their
Mm-hmm.
defense. Am I saying they're making a run to the NFC Championship? I'm gonna halt the brakes on that right now. But I agree with you. They're the team that you
Oh,
do not want to face right now.
I like right now. Who's the team that you're really like?
Eagles,
Lions, 49ers.
Eagles,
Like if
and
the
the
49ers
49ers.
get into it,
49ers
like
100%. Their defense 100% could stop them. Now their offense,
yeah,
their offense. Can they beat the Lions' defense? I'm gonna say no. But their 49ers defense is the number one defense in the league. Ah, I love D'Amico
it's tough.
Ryans. Yeah,
It's
that's a
tough.
tough game. That's
That's
a tough game. I hope that's not
we.
one of
I
the
could
games.
definitely see the Lions beating both the 49ers, Eagles, and Cowboys
Yeah,
right now. And so that's kind of where the top of the NFC is. And I think they could beat any of those teams.
yeah,
The Vikings, no question, they could beat them. So I didn't even put them in there. But um,
yeah.
that's kind of where the Lions stand.
Again,
All right,
2019
going into
Titans.
our top three. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No,
What was
you're
your.
good. No, no, yeah. I think they're the 2019
Going into
Titans.
our top three. Yep. Number three, we have the Bengals. They are now in the top of their division. They have proven they're the best team in that division. And I think they're borderline, go back and forth with the Chiefs and Bills, one of the top teams in the AFC. And I think they honestly might be my Super Bowl pick now. They've been crazy. I didn't expect it starting of the year. I thought they'd be good. I didn't think they'd be this good. They're scary, and I would not want to face the Bengals come playoff time.
Is he your
All right,
MVP?
I think Patrick Mahomes still edges him out a little bit, but I think Patrick Mahomes has more help than Joe Burrow has. Um, just his coaching, personnel, overall, it's comparable, but I still think the
It's
Patrick
Patty.
Mahomes edges him barely, but I think he's number two now over
I agree.
Jalen and over a lot of people.
I think he's
But
I think he's solidified himself as number 2.
Yeah, I think so, and I think a lot of people are going to start voting for him now too. I think he'll finish number two. If the MVP with voting was today, I think he would finish two, um, under Patrick Mahomes. Now, in the number two team in the NFL, it is the Buffalo Bills. They're on the top of the AFC. They are now pretty much considered better than the Chiefs because Chiefs lost this week, Bills won. Um, if I was going into a game today and it was the Chiefs and Bills playing, I would pick the Bills. Um, and closely, I would pick probably the Bills still over the Bengals, but dear God, that would be a close game, and I might even start be leaning towards the Bengals now. But and then number one, there's no question here. They just keep winning, so I can't move them down until they lose. It's the Eagles.
Yeah.
They're everyone's number one team, and they deserve to be. I think of those top three, you could switch any of those spots though. I think the Bengals could 100% be considered the best team, still could be the Bills. So, but as of this week, I still think it's the Eagles. I think the Eagles still deserve that top spot.
Yeah, until they lose a bad game, I still
Yeah.
think they're number. Even they could lose next week. I just, like
Mm-hmm.
if they lose to the Cowboys, they're still number one.
Yeah.
But I think the Cowboys then
Yeah.
jump up spots. But they're still the best team in the NFL. But if they lose like convincingly to the Cowboys, that's when I'm like, okay, Bills and Bengals they can move up to 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Eagles are
This is a
amazing.
team. This is a team that with the Eagles. The Eagles have had a really good season. They get blown out by the Cowboys. I could move them in out of the top five. That's how much that I don't believe in them in the postseason. I truly believe that if they lose convincingly to a bad team, that's kind of the evidence that we would need to kind of, all right, let's X-nay on the whole bandwagon thing.
So what if the Chiefs
And
would have lost to
but
the Texans? Would they have been out of the top five?
they are out of the, well, they're fifth. Um, if they would have lost to the Texans, I think I would have dropped them down to maybe eight. Um, and it would have been an argument between the Chargers and Chiefs then. Yeah, but if you lose to the worst team in the NFL,
You gotta drop that.
you're falling quite a bit.
You gotta drop that at least
I'm
half
sorry.
the list. If you're at one,
Yeah,
you gotta
you're
drop down to
still a
five.
top
If you're
10
at four,
team.
you gotta drop down to
Yeah,
eight. Just,
you're still a top team, but you would definitely be low. But I mean, the Chiefs are still the Chiefs, so
yeah.
we'll see moving forward. Now moving into my bottom five. All right, there's been a few changes, not that many, pretty much a lot of the same teams, just a little bit of a mix-up. Um, at number five, we have the Rams. They're competing for the number one overall pick. If you're competing for the number one overall pick, you probably should be in the bottom five teams in the NFL.
Well, technically, the Lions are
Um,
competing for the number one overall pick.
yeah. Um, Now number four, it is the Broncos. They won this week. That's the only reason they're not number one still, is they won. So I can't, in good conscience, still keep them at number one, but they should be number one because they are a horrible team.
Yep.
Um, at number three, we have the Colts. The Colts with a
They're not.
33
They're not
point
one.
lead.
Wow.
They're not one just because the two teams that are above them, I think, are worse than the Colts. But I was tempted to put them one just for the memes of the fact that you blew a 33-point lead. But
Poor Jeff
at
Saturday.
number two, I think it's the Texans. It's just you're still the number one
That means Cardinals are
position
number
for the
one.
playoffs.
That means the Cardinals are number one. Give it to me. Give it to me. Just...
And at number one, we have the Cardinals.
Yes.
They're
Yes.
from a team.
I hate the Cardinals, so I don't know what it is. If it's their jerseys, if it's their coach.
I don't know.
I hate the Cardinals for some reason. I don't know what. I've always hated the Cardinals.
Dude,
I don't
and
know
this is the
why.
thing. We thought coming into this team, there wasn't a single person in their right mind that didn't think that their division was going to be the most tough in the NFL with the Rams, the Cardinals, the 49ers. And I mean, the Seahawks were thought to be the bottom team of that, and they've proven to be, if not the best, the second best to the 49ers, which is crazy. The Rams and Cardinals, who are a lot of people's favorite to win the division, are now like complete jokes and are in the bottom five, and I think they 100% deserve that spot at number one.
Yep.
Any thoughts on my bottom five there, Nick?
Nope. Not a single one. I agree with all of them.
All right. Yep. All right. Moving on to our next topic. What do we got, Nick?
We got Hall of Fame. That Hall of Fame or not?
Ooh, fun. All right, let me go ahead.
Yeah, so Aaron's
This
gonna read
one's
off players, and I'm gonna say
yep.
if I think they're Hall of Fame or they're Hall of Mediocre.
Yep. All right, starting off with number one, Tom Brady. Do
Hall
you
of
think he's
Fame.
Hall of Fame
Just
or Hall of
Hall of Fame. just, just.
All right, yeah, I was giving you an easy
All
tosser
right,
up
cool.
there.
Now I'm
Yeah,
worried if you gave me that
yeah.
easy one. Now I'm a little
Uh,
worried they give me a hard one later on.
how about Matt Ryan?
Oh, crap, dude. Oh, it's hard.
I'll,
Oh,
I'll read I'll read his statistics to you.
yeah. Give me it. I know he's top 10
All right,
passing.
he's 6,200 yards passing. That's better than Joe Montana, who's in the playoffs. That's better than Drew Brees. Oh, not better than Drew Brees. That's better than Johnny Unitas. Um, that's better than Aaron Rodgers,
Hall of Fame.
who's considered to be.
Hall of Fame.
It's really tough, but he has no
He
Super
has the
Bowls.
MVP. He has the MVP.
He does have the
I'm
MVP.
that's what I'm giving him. He has a Super Bowl appearance.
All right. Yep. I don't disagree. I think he's right there on
Oh,
the
dude, that was a hard
fringe.
one. Just, oh.
Yeah. How about this next one? Ben Roethlisberger.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame.
That
Hall of
that
Fame.
quick.
Yeah, Hall of
Yeah.
Fame.
I don't disagree.
Two Super
He has
Bowls, led the league in passing multiple
6,400.
times.
Yep, 6,400
Thousand.
yards touchdowns,
Is it 64,000?
418 touchdowns. Yeah, he's Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
We'll go down the list. This can be one of our second to last quarterbacks that's on our list. Philip Rivers.
Give
He's
me a
got
sec. Give me a sec.
6,300 yards passing.
Thousand. Right? It's
Yeah,
thousand.
63,000. Yeah, 63,000 yards passing, 421 touchdowns,
I'm gonna say
84
not.
interceptions.
I'm gonna say not.
Really, that's impressive.
He
He
has
doesn't
he has
have the
no he has no playoff like deep playoff appearances.
no, he
He
doesn't. And that's
has
kind of
no
where
MVP. He's never lead the league in passing. I don't think he has
yep,
at least. He
he
has the
might have,
longevity.
but
He has the longevity. That's all he has.
mhm.
Not a Hall of Famer.
I think he's borderline. I think he's fringe, but I agree with you. Um,
If he gets in, that means Eli Manning gets in. That means
yep,
like a bunch of fringe guys have to get in.
yep. We'll go ahead and list off since you listed him, and I actually had him on my list anyway. Eli Manning, Hall of Fame or not? Two Super Bowls,
You suck.
57,000,
I'm gonna get so much hate. Oh my god.
366 touchdowns, 99 interceptions.
Not.
Not, I mean, he's better than Joe Namath, stat wise, who's in the Hall of Fame. He's better than Terry Bradshaw, who's Hall of Fame. Uh, yeah, I mean, it's tough. I
You
think
got
Eli will
this. Here's the
become,
problem. Here's the problem. Here's the problem.
yeah,
You gotta have. Not everyone can get into the Hall of Fame. That's like you can't
nope,
have it where everyone gets in.
nope.
Oh my god, he's gonna get in because he's a Manning. Oh god.
That's where I have him right now. I mean, he has an 85 passer rating for his whole career. Um, that's where
He
I'm
had
like,
2 good years. That's it. And those
he
are the
had
years he
two
won the
really good
Super
years, and
Bowl.
then he had a lot of pretty good years and a lot of average. I don't think he really had any like, oh my gosh, get this guy out of here years. Um,
I'm gonna say
he's
not.
I think he's the line of where if they're better than Manning, they get in. If they're worse than Manning, they don't. I think he literally becomes the line of whether they're Hall of Fame
And
or
I
not.
agree. I agree with that. I
Yep.
agree. But I'm gonna say
Yep.
not.
So that becomes Philip Rivers, then
Oh,
becomes a Hall of Famer
oh!
by those statistics. But
I had to say not. I have to.
yeah, no, I agree. I think that's definitely the where we're at. We'll do a few more here and then we'll move on. All right. Adrian Peterson, Hall of Fame or
Hall
not?
of Fame.
Yeah.
MVP. He's one of the best running
Hmm.
backs of all time.
Yep, 100%. He has just to list off his statistics, 1,400 yards, excuse me, 1,400 yards of rushing, almost 1,500, just shy of it, and 120 touchdowns. That's better than Marshall Faulk, who is in the Hall of Fame. So yeah, I think it's definitely Hall of Fame. Moving on, Frank Gore, Hall of Fame or not?
I'm gonna say yes
How come?
because his longevity and how
Yep.
dominant he was for how long.
Yep. He,
Yes.
yeah, he was definitely one of those ones that I think was borderline until I looked at his statistics. This is not a guy you really think, oh yeah, he's definitely a Hall of Famer. You got to question it. He had 1,600 yards rushing. That is crazy. I think that's third in the NFL all
I,
time.
I, I think it is third because he was very close to getting. They said if he would have
Yep,
played another
it is
two
third.
years, averaging about 500 yards, I believe he would
Yep,
get number one.
second all time.
Yeah, second all time because he was
Yep.
fighting for
He
second.
would have got. He's not gonna be first. He was
Well, he's
still.
done now. He's done now. He's boxing
Yeah,
now.
he no, he's 100% done. But I like he was never gonna get really that first spot of
Yeah, Emmett Smith is
1,800.
crazy.
He was. He played. Jeez, I just tossed my mouse. But all right. We'll move down.
I said do a few from
LaShawn
each
McCoy.
position. Do a few from each
L-
position.
Yeah, I will.
LaShawn
LaShawn McCoy
McCoy,
was the last one we'll do in the run back.
Shady. Oh, does
Shady, my
Shady get
friend.
in?
He has
So
just based off his.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
go ahead.
say yes
Okay,
because he ring chased his last 2 years.
he did.
That's why I believe he has two Super Bowls because he ring chased 2 years in a
Yep.
row. So I'm gonna
I
say
think it's
yes.
less important for any other position besides quarterback to have Super Bowls, but I think it's still considered.
Yes.
And
Plus he was so dominant when he
he
was
was.
dominant. Like
Yeah,
he was one of the
100%.
best when he was in his prime.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say yes.
Curtis Martin is in the Hall of
Yes.
Fame,
Yes. And he definitely
and he's has comparable stats to him. He has 1,100 rushing yards, 73 touchdowns. Uh, he was dominant. It is what it is.
Oh,
I agree with you.
they just released the Pro Bowl roster. We'll talk about that next week. They just released it. I'm
Yeah,
getting
cool,
notifications about it. All right, that'll be next week.
cool. All right, Verge Hall of Famers. Steve Smith Sr. as a
Yes.
wide receiver.
Yes, he should have
That was
already been
quick.
in. He should have already been in.
Yep, I agree. He's 1,400 yards receiving and 81 touchdowns. He is 100% a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Um, Calvin Johnson, did he do enough
Yes,
in his
he's
10
already in.
years?
He's already in.
Oh, he is in?
He was a
I didn't know that.
he was a first ballot like immediately. Last year he got in.
I was just reading him off there. Ooh, this is a fun one.
You're
We'll
gonna say
do this
Heinz
as the
Ward.
last one.
You're gonna say Heinz Ward.
No, I'm not. Brandon Marshall. He had 1,200 receiving yards, 83 touchdowns, and 970 catches.
What years did he play? Like what was the years?
He played from 2006 to 2018. He's most known for being a Denver Bronco and
Yep.
Chicago Bear. He had a few random teams towards the end.
But he's a Broncos
Jets were
legend.
one.
He's a Broncos legend.
He is.
Oh, I'm gonna say no. Oh my God, you're giving me
I
hard
think
ones.
I am, and it's so much fun. I love this list, but
Oh,
I think he's the line for wide receivers. I think similar to Eli Manning. He never won a or nor did really had deep playoff runs. So I think that kind of counts against him. But all right, this is an easy one. We'll give you an easy one for the first one. Rob Gronkowski for tight end.
yeah, Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Just short of 10,000 yards receiving, 92 touchdowns. He won all those Super Bowls with Tom Brady. Could make the argument that he would not have if it wasn't for Rob Gronkowski, 100% a Hall of Famer.
Multiple
Now
Super Bowls.
here's a
He made the
fun
biggest
one.
catch.
Yep. Here's a fun one. Travis Kelce, if he got blown out knee right now, do you think with his stats that he currently
Yes,
has, Hall of Fame or not?
he
10,000
has.
yards receiving,
The thing is, those
69
10,000,
touchdowns.
those 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
He has the longest streak of 1,000 yard seasons ever. I believe it's 8 now. Like this is the 8th season he has over 1,000. Won a Super Bowl, been to another Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Is the primary receiver on one of the best
Yep.
offenses of all time. Yes.
Yep. I agree. Moving on, Greg Olson on Fox Now reporter. He has 8,000 yards receiving. Remember, this is for tight ends.
Yep. Yep.
60 touchdowns. He had 742 catches.
Yes. I'll say
He's known for
yes.
a Panthers.
I'll
You
say
you think
yes.
he is?
I'll say
All right,
yes.
that's their line. I think he's the line too. So I don't want to go any lower than that because I don't think anyone lower than that's really gonna get in.
That's a tough one. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it
say yes.
was.
I like Greg Olson, but like,
I do too.
has he done enough to make the Hall of Fame? Is the
Yeah.
question.
I'm gonna skip offensive line just
Yeah,
because
that's a little bit harder of a
that's
position.
hard to kind of gauge. But we'll do defensive tackle
Joe
next.
Thomas, yes.
All right, let's do Ndamukong Suh. He has
No,
71 sacks
no.
and kind of a
You can
jerk.
you can tell the story of the NFL without Ndamukong Suh.
I don't think you can tell the story of Detroit without Ndamukong Suh. Um,
What about
and
Ziggy
that's where
Ansah?
it comes. Yeah,
You can tell the story of Detroit without Ziggy Ansah, and he was one of their first round picks. I think you can easily
that's
tell the
true.
story of the Lions without
That's
Ndamukong
true.
Suh. Even though I like
All
Sue,
right.
he has a Super
I think
Bowl.
he was good.
He has a
I
Super
don't think
Bowl
he was
from
crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
he has a Super Bowl from Tampa. He's currently
Yeah,
on the
he does.
Eagles, so he might get another
Hmm.
one. So maybe that changes my opinion. But
Yeah, I think he's borderline now. I think he needs a little bit more to get pushed over that. Um, but yeah, I mean, it kind of is what it is. But Geno Atkins,
wow, that's a name I hadn't
75.
heard in a while.
Yep, 75 sacks,
Wow.
34, 384 single tackles, 172 QB hits.
See, the difference between him and Ndamukong Suh, he was the main operator of that defensive line for the Bengals when they were making the playoffs consistently with Andy
Yep,
Dalton. They may have been bounced immediately, but he was
yep.
the reason on that defensive line they kept making it. So I'm gonna
Hmm.
say Hall of Fame because he like Ndamukong Suh could have had better stats, but his team never made a deep playoff run or even a playoff run. Geno
Yep.
Atkins was the reason the Bengals defensive line was the Bengals defensive line. So I'm gonna say
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, 100%. I agree. Moving on now because I think again he's the line. We're not going to put anyone in below him. Um, moving on to defensive end. This is a fun category. J.J. Watt, Hall of Fame or not?
Yes.
I agree. He's got 111 sacks, 311 QB hits. That's just crazy.
Two time defensive player of the year, rookie of the year.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's in.
yeah, yeah. All right, we are going to move down to Chandler Jones, Hall of Fame or not? 112 sacks, 210 QB hits,
See
508 tackles.
the question with pass rushers, if you
Yep,
get over 100 sacks, are you a Hall of Famer? Because 100 sacks is very difficult to get to.
it is. We're gonna try something here because my phone's about to die. We're gonna see if you can still hear me if I have my phone charged.
Testing 1 2, testing
Yeah.
1 2.
Yeah, see, I turned it down a little bit, but yeah, I can hear you. Let me make sure. Talk
Testing,
a little bit more.
testing,
A little bit more.
testing.
There you go. That's perfect. Awesome. Oh yeah. What was the question again? Who was the person? Oh, over
Chandler
100.
Jones.
Yeah, over 100 sacks. I'm gonna say yes because he has over 100 sacks. Because again, like that is, I feel like that's the benchmark for pass rusher. Is if you get over 100 sacks, you're then in the conversation for Hall of Fame. So I'll say yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe not immediate, not maybe not first ballot, but he'll get in. He'll get in.
Eventually, he'll come in. Here's a fun name that we haven't heard in a while: Jared Allen. 136 sacks, 648 tackles, 228 QB hits.
I see the refresh my memory on Jared Allen.
Vikings all-time defensive lineman. Great player.
Um,
Again, 136 sacks. So if we're going by the
yeah,
benchmark of 100,
yeah.
he gets in.
I mean, I'm surprised he didn't get in the first time. Apparently, he was not. He was up for Pro Football Hall of Fame eligibility in 2021. Was passed over in favor of Peyton Manning, Charles Woodson, and Calvin Johnson. He'll get in this year.
Yeah,
He'll get in this year.
He's not a very notable name, and that's why I think he wasn't first ballot. But he was definitely a very
136 sacks is impressive. So
yeah.
that's 13
So-
years of getting 10 sacks a year.
All right, moving on. We got inside linebacker. So middle linebacker are in the 3-4 scheme, the inside man. We shall go with Bobby Wagner.
Yes, Hall
Hall
of
of
Fame.
Fame or not?
Yes, Hall of Fame.
Yep.
He was the best linebacker for 10 years.
1,500 tackles, 85 QB hits, 28 sacks.
Yeah,
Not that
he
many
was the best
sacks.
linebacker for 10 years.
Yep.
He was.
100%. Yep. I think we won't do that many more linebackers. We'll throw out another name here. Trying to find one that's even like Luke Kuechly.
That's a conversation.
It is a conversation.
I'm gonna say yes because I
I'll
know.
read his stats.
I'll say yes because I
12
know
sacks.
he made the All Pro 5 of his 8 years. I mean, he made the first team All Pro 5 of 8 years, and he made the Pro Bowl 7 of 8 years, and he led the league in like tackles multiple. I'll say yes.
I think so too, but we'll read his
Yeah, what's his
stats for the
stats?
audience real quick. 12.5 sacks in his career, but he had over 1,000 tackles in
In
his
8
very
years.
short NFL career. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
He had 690 solo, 402 assisted, 75 tackles for loss, and 31 QB hits.
Yeah.
Dude was a freaking monster.
Yeah,
If he
Hall
would
of
have stayed
Famer.
in, he would have probably been the best ever, but unfortunately couldn't stay healthy. So, all right, as it stands right now, outside linebackers, Von Miller, Hall of Fame or
Yes.
not?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, 123 sacks.
And
Speaks
multiple
for itself.
multiple Super Bowls, a Super Bowl MVP. Absolutely, he gets in.
It's kind of just, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, 657 combined tackles, excuse me, and 229 QB hits. Crazy. Oh, sorry, 245 QB hits. I was reading the wrong stat line. It's even better than what I thought. Terrell Suggs.
Oh,
Famer or not?
not T Sizzle.
He's fizzled, man.
Was he part of the 2012 Super Bowl team?
I think he was.
What year was
Yes.
he drafted? He was like 07, right? 08? Some old...
Nope. He was 2003. He was 2003
What?
to 2019. Yep. Dude was old.
Because he went to I believe he went to the Cardinals his last year or two. If that's,
Yep.
I think that was his last
Yep.
team. Yeah, Hall of Famer. Because he was a part of the 2012 team. He was multiple time Pro Bowl, All Pro. Yeah, 100%.
Won the 139 NFL sacks.
Yeah, about 10 a year. About 10 a year.
Just crazy. Almost 1,000, just shy of 1,000 total tackles,
Insane.
200 hits. He is 100% a Hall of
Yeah.
Famer.
I love Terrell
But
Suggs.
just when you hear the name, you don't think, oh yeah. But and then when you put his stats compared to others, you're just like, it's just crazy.
See,
Let's do this
I
last
knew
one.
I knew he got drafted in the mid 2000s. I thought it was like 2005, 06 or something. 03? Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl in 02. Like that's how long he played. That's crazy.
That's how long he was just a name in the
Yeah.
NFL. Like he was a valid name for all those years.
Oh yeah.
Last outside linebacker we'll list off today because I think he's borderline Khalil Mack. Right now, 83 sacks. 83 and a half.
Only 83.
Only 83, but he has got
Oh.
500 tackles.
What's his pressures?
He's got 146 QB hits
Oh, dude, that is so
and
bad.
113 tackles for loss.
I'm gonna say no.
I don't think he is yet either. I think he needs
I
a few
mean,
more years to really
I
get
believe didn't he win Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year at one point?
Yep. there. Mm-hmm.
It's let him play out his career. Let him play out his
Let him
career.
play out his career. I think he will be. I think he'll retire as a Hall of Famer. Right now, I don't think he is.
He wouldn't be a
But I
first
think
ballot.
he'll join whatever team, like an Eagles team of later years, and Super Bowl chase towards the end, and he'll win.
Like Jared
Um,
Allen, he won't be a first ballot, but he'll get in. He'll get in.
unless he just goes off towards the end of his career, which could happen, then yeah,
Well, yeah,
first
for
ballot.
all we know, next year he gets 12 sacks and they win the Super
Yeah.
Bowl. For all we know, he still has 4 years left in his career, 3 or 4 years. Like it's still there.
Yep. All right. Now, cornerback.
Oh no.
Um, is he in yet? Is Darrell Revis in
This year, he's eligible
this
this
year?
year, so he'll be a first ballot. But this is his first
First
year.
ballot.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Him and Joe
So
Thomas.
Darrell Revis, yes. Champ Bailey.
Oh man, that's a name. That's a name.
That is his name.
Champ.
Ooh, he's got some juicy stats too.
I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah. 52 interceptions. 931 tackles. That's better than some linebackers that we just listed off that we thought were Hall of Fame.
When did he retire?
He retired 2013.
He's got to be in. No way he's not in. Hall of Fame. Yeah, he is. He is. Okay. But I say, if Champ Bailey's not in Hall of Fame, bro, what? Yeah, he is.
It doesn't say whether on my list if they're not. It just kind of lists the players and like.
Dude, he was in from '99 to 2013 as a corner. 14 years as a corner is impressive.
Ooh, here's a fun one. Richard Sherman.
Yes.
More of a guy from our generation.
Yes, 100%.
37 interceptions. Not that many interceptions.
100%. He is a Hall of Famer. He was the Legion of Boom. You can, again, that's the difference, man. You gotta remember. Can you tell the NFL story without them? No, you cannot tell the NFL story without Richard Sherman.
Can you tell the NFL story and same without saying Michael Crabtree in that same sentence?
But like I'm saying, but like when you like was Michael Crabtree the Legion of Boom?
No,
but like the no-fly zone, the no-fly zone with the Broncos, they all are making the Hall of Fame. You can't tell the NFL story without the no-fly zone. You cannot tell the 2010s NFL story without Richard Sherman. If Cam Chancellor would have stayed healthy, if Earl Thomas, if he didn't go crazy, like if these guys would have played their careers out like normal and didn't get injured, just played out their 10-year career and retired, they're all Hall of Famers, all of them. You can't tell. You can't tell the story.
Agree. Yeah.
Richard Sherman went out on his own terms. That's why he's making the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he did. And one thing that I think is talked about, and the reason why he has lower stats is no one could throw to him without it being picked.
Yep.
It considered, and I think that's when you consider one of the best of all time, is when you can literally say that no one could pass to him on that side of the field. That field was just not an option. You had to play him to the other side.
So I'm gonna see what his career passer rating allowed is. 1 second. No, that's not. That's all I'm looking for. Passer rating allowed. PFF, please be there for me. 2011. Wow, 2011. Jeez, these guys are old, man. We're getting old. We're getting so old, man. Sorry, I'm trying to find this. He allowed a 45.4% passer rating when thrown to.
That's crazy.
He's a Hall of Famer, bro.
It was automatic.
He's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer.
All right. Moving on to the final one that we'll talk about, because I don't think we're going to list any punters right now that are going to make Hall of Fame for sure. Kicker, Adam Vinatieri.
Yes.
Hall of Fame or not. Can't tell the NFL story without Adam Vinatieri, man. Hands down. All right. He has. Look.
I believe he has the most points scored in NFL history.
He does. 715 field goals made. Wow. No, attempted. Sorry, attempted. 599 made. That is crazy. That's just crazy. How do you even do that? Justin Tucker, Hall of Fame or not?
Yes, sadly, it kills me to say this, but yes, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I agree.
he is
300.
he is the most accurate kicker of all time. And I think he is the best kicker of all time. I think he's better than
Yeah.
Adam Vinatieri. Is that Adam Vinatieri was relied on was
Yeah.
Adam Vinatieri was in a completely different time where you kicked the
Yep.
ball way more.
He did. Yeah. He's made 355 field goals, and he's still got a few years left. I can still see
Yeah.
him making a little bit longer of a run. Kickers can go for quite a while.
Well, yeah, Robbie Gould
Running
is 40
down the
years old.
list, he's still active now, so he's not in the Hall of Fame yet, and he's got some fun stats. He's the
Who?
Bears' all-time leading
Oh, Robbie
scorer.
Gould. Yeah.
Robbie Gould,
Yeah, he's a Hall of
uh,
Famer. He's a Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer. I think a lot of people are going to question it, but when you look at his stats, he's got 440 made uh, field goals.
Insane.
It's crazy.
And again, longevity does
Yeah.
play a role in the kicker.
It does.
He's 40
It's
years
crazy.
old, still being a really good kicker.
Yeah, one of the best of all time. I think that kind of Hall of Fame or not kind of adds an in. We'll throw a punter in there just for kicks and giggles in this topic. But let's see here. Trying to even look for a name that everyone would know. Uh, there's literally like no.
It's fine.
Okay, Johnny Heckler.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. He won a Super Bowl.
Yep.
And on top of that, he's just one of the best kickers of his era.
Yeah, I agree. He's a fun name. All right. That ends our segment for Hall of Fame or not. What we got next, Nick?
We got my 2023 tight end draft rankings. I'm going to try and do this somewhat quickly because tight end is probably one of the more boring parts of this draft just because it's not a deep class.
A super deep one, no.
Yeah. At number 5, I have from the Gamecocks of Carolina. I love saying their name. I have Jaheim Bell, number 5. I've been predicted as a day 2 to day 3 pick. He is 6. This time I did put down their measurements. 6'3", 232. Smaller frame. Usually you want your tight end 6'5", 6'6", but 6'3", 232. He had 73. So the problem with Jaheim Bell, he was kind of used as everything. He had 73 rushing attempts for 263 yards and 3 touchdowns, and 25 receptions for 231 yards and 2 touchdowns. He really is a receiver in a tight end role. He's Darren Waller. I think he's going to get a lot of Darren Waller comps. He's a big frame, and he allows mismatches in the seam. My number one thing, Browns, please draft him. He is the prototypical Browns player. I think if he got drafted to the Browns, he would blossom. What we've done with David Njoku, we could do with Jaheim Bell. He ran the ball a lot, which is funny that he is basically non-existent as a blocker. Someone who runs the ball a lot is non-existent as a blocker. He tries, but man, you probably shouldn't try anymore. Just be done. You know, I mean, like just do what you gotta do. But I still think he's a day 2, day 3 pick. I think whatever team he does get on, he's gonna be kind of like Isaiah Likely with the Ravens this year. He'll be used. Like he'll get catches, he'll get attempts. I'm very excited to see Jaheim Bell this year.
Yep.
Kind of like Chukwuma Okonkwo with the Titans as well. Chuck's had a lot of fun with pre-draft. I like tight ends who are versatile. But you know, 6'3", 232, we'll see.
Yep.
But number 4 is I'm very excited for this guy, Luke Musgrove from what school was he from? Crap, I didn't write it down. I don't recognize this logo. Anyway, Luke Musgrave, 6'6", 250, again prototypical size. I think he's gonna be a day 2 pick, probably round 3 at the very end. 11 receptions for 169 yards and a touchdown. Tight end in college needs to be used more. That's the end point of my speech. Throw the ball to tight ends more. He's athletically gifted. He's a lacrosse player, so he's very fast, very agile, very nimble. He has a lot of yards after the catch potential. I think he'll definitely kind of settle in more as a blocker. because he needs to improve as a blocker. But I just don't think there'll be many teams that'll throw the ball to him. He's a good route runner, but he isn't the best blocker, and he needs to improve his separation through mismatch. He just doesn't separate well, so they need to put him against smaller linebackers, put him in the slot maybe sometimes. But I like Luke Musgrave as a number 4 option.
For sure.
And because he's a lacrosse player, we actually already have his combine measurements. So he has 36 and a half inches. Like his arms are 36 and a half inches. His broad jump is 10 feet, which is pretty decent for tight ends. He also clocked a 4.5 140, which is very fast for a tight end. So Luke Musgrave might come up to number 3. But I think that Dalton Kincaid from Utah has the 3rd tight end slot. But he can already guarantee he's going in the 2nd round. 70 receptions, 890 yards, and 8 touchdowns. I mean, that's elite. But that's an elite production for an NFL tight end. I like Dalton Kincaid. He's 6'4", 240. He is still my 3rd tight end because I like the other guys more. He's a smooth route runner, good hands. He's Dalton Knox. I think the Bills' Dalton Knox is Dalton Kincaid. Yes, they share the first name, but they share everything else. Like Dalton Knox, he's not a blocker. He's a receiving tight end. And every NFL team could use him. Utah's doing really good, man. They have a lot of good draft picks this year. I'm excited to see the Utah program grow. But number 2 tight ends is honestly my favorite tight end of the draft. I like number 1, but I think my favorite is Darnell Washington from Georgia. He's 6'7", 270. I love my tight ends big and bulky. I love them. I love big tight ends. Darnell Washington, he's going to sneak into the 1st round. I have him round 1 to 2 pick. He's going to be one of the last picks of the 1st round because you can't, I don't understand what it is about me. I just love big tight ends. His 2022 stats from Georgia, 26 receptions, 400 yards, 2 touchdowns. He has long arms, he's big, and he's an amazing run blocker. That's a 1st round pick of a tight end. He has everything you want in measurables. He's an amazing run blocker. He's really good after the catch. He's really big. The only cons is his speed. He's not a speedster, but you're a tight end, so it does not matter. Any thoughts so far?
No, I agree with all your picks so far.
Yeah, and obviously number 1 is Michael Mayer. There is no discussion. Michael Mayer will be a top 10 pick. He'll be a top 10 pick.
Most likely. Yep.
6'4", 265. He's elite. It's just, I mean, he's 67 receptions, 809 yards, 9 touchdowns. Notre Dame had a special player in Michael Mayer. He's elite. His burst at the line of scrimmage is amazing, and PFF loves him. He is a PFF monster. Just look at him. If you guys do have a PFF subscription, just go to PFF, look at Michael Mayer's season, 90s, 90, 90, 90, 89, 90, 90. They love Michael Mayer. The only cons, he's not Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts was a unicorn. Michael Mayer's not a unicorn. I think he's closer to TJ Hawkinson than he is to Kyle Pitts. And again, he's not a burner. He plays at short to intermediate field really well. I like his vision. I like Michael Mayer, but I love Darnell Washington. That is my 2023 tight end draft rankings. 5 Jaheim Bell, 4 Luke Musgrave, 3 Dalton Kincaid, 2 Darnell Washington, and 1 Michael Mayer.
Yep.
Yeah, the tight end draft is not going to be great, but I think those 5 guys are who you want to target. Anyone past Jaheim Bell, you don't want to touch. It's just not worth it. Get him in the 6th, 7th round. Next, yeah, there's not much to disagree with. Again, I'm very upset how bad this draft is for tight ends because like last year you had Charlie Kolar, you had Isaiah Likely, you had
we've been spoiled the last few years for sure.
Yeah, we've had multiple drafts in a row of good tight end play. I mean, in 2019 we had Noah Fant and TJ Hawkinson from Iowa both go top 15. 2 tight ends from the same school go in the top 15 in the 1st round. So I agree. We haven't spoiled. But I think we'll get 2 tight ends this year. I think Darnell Washington will sneak into the 1st round. Next topic we're talking about is record swap. So basically, I'm going to name a team, And I'm going to have Aaron say if next season they're going to have the opposite of their record. So let's say if a team has 6 wins right now, do you think at this point in the season next year they'll have 6 losses? And so on and so forth. So like a team like Cleveland, they're 6-8. Do you think this time next year, they'll be 8-6? Yada yada. So there's gonna be a lot of teams that probably will be about what they are right now, but it'll be more fun to do for the worst teams. Will they be better? The bad teams will they be? I mean, the good teams will they be worse? Starting off, let's go to the AFC. Let's find a good team. The Pittsburgh Steelers. They're currently 6-8. Do you think that they could be 8-6 next year at this time?
It's hard to say. I think they definitely could. I think I would say it's a safe bet to say they would with Mike Tomlin still as QB. I think they need to get a quarterback in the offseason. Neither of their quarterbacks that they've played this year have shown that they can be QBs, so I think it flips.
Yeah, I actually agree. I think that they're gonna settle down. They've had a lot of injuries as well on defense. I mean, TJ Watt's been injured the entire year. Yeah. That alone is 2 or 3 wins added on. But I do think the Pittsburgh Steelers could be better next year. And for a team also in the same division, the Baltimore Ravens are 9-5. Could they be 5-9 next year? Could they have could for some reason they fall off?
Surprisingly, yes. And here's why. Lamar Jackson's not under contract next year. A Lamar Jackson free Baltimore Ravens for next year with their current roster is a scary, in a bad way, team. And I think they would be in a complete rebuild if they lose Lamar Jackson next year free agency.
Well, plus on defense, I believe Marlon Humphrey and their rookie Jalen Armour-Davis are the only corners on roster next year right now. So they're going to have to go into this drafting corners. We've seen that their defense is not the best still somehow. Their offense, without Lamar Jackson, like you said, is bad. They don't have receivers still. I think they could very well. They could be 5-9 next year. They could be sadly one of the bottom dwellers of the draft. Of the league. The Indianapolis Colts, could they be 9-4 next year at this point in the season?
No.
No. Yeah. Yeah. That's a gimme.
So. I don't think they make a 1-year turnaround no matter who they get a coach. I don't think it's a 1-year turnaround.
What about the Raiders? Could they be 8-6 next year? They're currently 6-8.
Yeah. I think that's a very reasonable.
But a less reasonable one. The Denver Broncos. They are 4-10. Could they be 10-4 next year?
100%.
What would you feel they have to do?
People had them as their Super Bowl favorite this year. I think they could very easily.
Well, I'm someone who had them winning the Super Bowl, so.
Yeah.
Now we're moving on to the NFC. The New York Giants are currently 8-5-1. Could they be 5-8 this time next year?
I don't know. That's a hard one. I don't think so. What do you think?
I'm gonna say no, because I feel Brian Daboll is gonna get a quarterback he wants, and he's gonna shape him into a good quarterback. Their defense has the foundation work to be really good, and if they can re-sign Saquon, they have a guaranteed start at running back. So.
Yeah, I think they can definitely be pretty good next year. So we'll see.
What about the Chicago Bears? Could they be 11-3 this time next year? No, it's immediate.
As much as I want to say yes, I don't think they'll be. I think they'll have a dramatic turnaround. I don't think they're going to be 11-3 next year at this time.
Yeah, 11 wins is a little too much. What about the Vikings though? Could they be 3-11 this time next year?
100%. Look at any team in the NFC North. Look at the last 10, 15 years. If they have a good year, they can have a bad year next year. Outside of the Green Bay Packers, every single team in the NFC North is that way. It's crazy. I don't get it, but
they win and then they lose for 4 years, and they win again and lose for 4 years. Yeah, the NFC North and what's the other one? NFC North and the NFC East both feel like that. You win 1 year, then you miss it for 2 years, and you win again the division, and you miss it 3 years. It's really random. Moving on to the NFC South. The New Orleans Saints. They're currently 5-9. Could they do enough this offseason to be 9-5 next year?
I think the only way that they're gonna flip that is if Sean Payton comes back at coach, and I don't think he will. No.
I mean, I think they have the bones to do it, but they don't have the actual people to do it.
They need a coach, and
They need a coach. They
And
need a
got
quarterback. They need people to not be old and falling off, which their entire defense is older players.
mhm.
I don't think they can do it though. They have the foundation to do it, but I don't think they have the vision to do it. Because I would be trading Cameron Jordan. I'd trade DeMario Davis. I would trade anyone. Michael Thomas would be gone. Like I would do a full rebuild. I would not do 9-5. I think they should just tank, try and get a good quarterback. Speaking of the NFC South, the Atlanta Falcons. They're currently 5-9. Could they do enough next year to be 9-5? To be 9-5?
Probably not.
I think it's too much. That's the thing. There's too
I
much
think
they
it's
need to
too
do.
much. I think they could flip it around, but I don't think they're gonna flip it around that much.
Yeah, they could maybe be above, just at 500, above 500.
500. We're at 5. Yeah.
I mean, for a good while there, they were in lead for the division, and then they lost it and started going on a losing streak. So, last two teams, the Cardinals. They're 4-10 right now. Is there enough they could do this offseason to be 10-4?
Fire your GM, fire your coach, get Sean Payton, or enter top tier coach name here. Yeah,
Name here. It's just, Frank Reich would be interesting.
Frank Wright would be interesting. I'm interested to see who gets fired this year too.
Yeah.
Um,
Because a lot of teams that one of our first weeks we did hot seat on coaches, a lot of those coaches started winning. Like the Chargers are now back in the playoff position. The Raiders are back in playoff positioning. Like a lot of those teams that we said.
Yeah.
And last team, same record, 4-10. Could the LA Rams be 10-4 next year with what they
100%.
have?
Matthew Stafford's healthy. They're 10-4 right now.
That offensive line, man.
It doesn't matter. He had bad offensive lines in Detroit. It's just if he's healthy and 100%. Now that's the key word. He's healthy, so that means the offensive line performed a little bit better than what they are. So if they performed a little bit above par, which I think with Matthew Stafford you would, because he's got the quick release. I think 100%. So Matthew Stafford, he's announced he's not retiring. He's coming back. Which I think it's crazy. Anyone thought he was retiring. He's not that old. Like,
I think it was mainly they were worried about his neck injury. Apparently, it could have been worse than it actually was.
He's not retiring.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't care if he even did have like a season or a career-ending injury. He's gonna try to come back. That's just the type of player he is. For at least one more year, he's gonna be coming back. So yes, I think they could flip it around.
I actually agree as well. That team is very easily close to making the playoffs next year. I wouldn't say they'd be 10-4, but I think it could definitely be 9-8.
The question is, could they be? And yes, they could be.
Yes.
I don't think they will be. I think they'll be, 9-5, 8-6, something like that, to where they're like right on the edge.
Yeah.
And I think they'll.
Because 10 wins is a lot. Like that's a lot of wins to flip from 4-10 to 10-4. I agree though. I think they'll be very close. I think they'll be very, very close to it. Yeah, that was just a quick segment, just picking your brain about the topic, seeing what your opinions are. Next topic is yours. Sign, tag, release. I don't know what this topic is. I'm very intrigued.
Yeah, I'll explain it real quick. So we're gonna go through a few of the top names entering free agency next free agency period, and I'm gonna ask Nick if Nick was a GM, would he sign this player? Would he let them go, essentially let them go, or would he tag them? All right, and that's essentially the whole topic. We're gonna go through some of the top names, and we'll see where we stand on some of these top NFL players. Starting off our list, we'll
start with the QBs. We'll go just like the Hall of Fame list we did. Tom Brady, sign, let go, or tag.
This is if I'm the Buccaneers GM.
If you're the Buccaneers.
I'm gonna let him walk. I think we got to move on to a new direction. I thank Tom Brady obviously for helping us win a Super Bowl and give me a job. I think with him out the door, I would also look towards other guys that are in free agency because I don't think they're in position to get a Will Levis or CJ Stroud.
No, unless they trade a lot.
Unless they trade a lot. I wouldn't trade a lot for this draft. I would wait for next year to try and get Caleb Williams. I'm gonna let him walk.
Yeah, I agree. Moving down the list, should the Rams sign, release, or tag Baker Mayfield?
I'm gonna say sign. I think he's a good backup. We've seen flashes when he's with the Rams. We've seen a lot of bad moments.
That's Baker Mayfield.
That's the thing. That's Baker Mayfield. I'm gonna say sign depending on the number. If he wants
that's a big question. He's gonna have to take.
If he wants over $10 million, he's walking. I'm not paying him over $10 million.
Here's the issue: they're gonna have to do some restructuring here, because they only have $2 million in available cap space currently entering into next offseason. So it's a real tough one.
I'm gonna say sign still. Try and figure it out.
Yeah,
because he's still. Because let's just say like next year, Kirk Cousins gets hurt week 4, week 5. He tears his ACL out for the season.
Mm-hmm.
I would be like, hey Vikings, give me a 5th or 6th round pick. You can have Baker. Yep. So that's, in my eyes, that's what I would do. I would sign him to a $4 or $5 million deal.
Baker be like, hey, $5 million deal. You'll release X names here that don't really matter to your cap. Some cap scientist is going to go out there and figure it out.
Yeah, they're the best
I think
cap
he's definitely an
manipulators.
off-season signing where you definitely need a backup with Stafford, and he's a similar archetype to a Stafford.
Yep.
Gunslinger, very similar, good arm. I think you could definitely fit Baker into your scheme and continue winning with Baker if Stafford goes down again.
I agree.
It's possible. He's getting older. So, yep. All right, moving on to Daniel Jones. Sign, let go, or tag?
I believe the tag for quarterbacks this year is $35 million.
Mm-hmm.
If I can sign Daniel Jones for less than $35 million, I will sign him. But if he wants more than 35, I think I'm gonna let him walk. Tagging players, especially quarterbacks, I don't like. I don't like when teams control a player's want. Like if a player says I want out unless you give me this much money, if I'm not willing to give him that money, I'm still letting him walk. Like I don't want to make the locker room mad because if he's in the locker room, everyone knows he doesn't want to be there. So I'm gonna let him walk if it's over 35 million he wants. I mean, he shouldn't want 35 million.
He shouldn't. Listen, I think you sit down if you're the Giants. This is my stance. I've gone over the cap. Over the cap, for those of you who don't know, is a super fun resource.
It's amazing
to kind of play around with. I got it up to like offering him 22 a year on a 4-year deal with a bunch of guarantees and stuff, and still fitting in nicely. That you'd be getting like top 10 NFL QB money. He shouldn't be asking for more than top 10 QB money.
Yeah.
He might, but he should not be asking for more than top 10 QB money. So I think 100% you should sign him before free agency because I think he will get that 35 million on the free agency market. So, all right, last QB on our list, and then we'll move on. Geno Smith, sign, let go, or
sign.
Yeah, no.
I'm not paying him 35 million, but I'm paying him something. That's the thing.
I don't think Geno is going to ask for 35 million.
But I'm saying like it's either sign him or release him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm signing him immediately. He would have already had a deal with me. That's how adamant I am. We would be week 15. He already knows he's signed for the next 2 years. That's how adamant I am.
Yeah, we can talk more about QBs. There's a lot of QBs entering the free agency market after this season.
I'd rather move on. I don't want to keep going over quarterbacks.
No, I agree. We're gonna move on. That's why I said we can talk about it in a later date. But running back Saquon Barkley, sign or release? Let go.
Tag.
You think tag?
I'm not giving him a multi-year deal. Straight up, I'm not doing it. I would tag him, letting him know if you do one more year with this production, we're giving you a multi-year deal. But you have an injury history. The tag is probably only around 15 million, which is what I think he's worth. I think he's about worth 15. So like you're giving him what he's worth, but you're not giving it's not a multi-year deal. So I think I'm gonna tag him.
Yep. Here's the thing with that. I think you try to sign him to like a 2 or 3 year deal because his current APY is around 8 mil. So if you're tagging him,
What?
that's his current one. That's currently what he's making. That's in his rookie year. That's on his rookie deal.
Yeah. No. That's what he's worth per year is what they think he'll get signed for. Running back contract.
Like he's injury prone.
That's the thing. He's injury prone.
That's the thing. If you gave him, 9 mil a year, 10 mil a year.
So the tag would only be 11.5. Sorry, actually 13. Sorry, it'd be 13.
I would sign him to a multi-year deal if it was less than 9.
Yeah, it's
not
13.
Tag, try to work on a longer deal. Well, I think you could get him for cheaper than the tag. That's why I'm saying a 2 or 3 year deal to kind of approve it. Maybe do like a 1 year fully guaranteed and then 2 years voidable type deal.
Yeah, because it's the average of the top 5 is what it is. So it'd be 13.5. The thing is, you either pay him Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey money, where it's around 15 to 16. You sign him to a multi-year saying, bro, you've been injured, but we want you to about a 9, or you tag him for 13. I would rather tag him for 1 year and let him know, hey, if you stay healthy, we want you. Like, we want you if you stay healthy. But if you don't stay healthy, we gotta move on. And let's be blunt with him. Be like, hey, you understand that we're a business. We want you here. Like, we want you here as a person. But we can't if you're going to be injured every year. So we're going to give you 1 more year, prove it deal, let us know that you're healthy.
Yep. Last in the running back, then we'll move on to wide receiver, Josh Jacobs.
Sign.
Yeah,
I believe
think we really need this.
I believe he's leading the league in rushing.
Yep. He's proven he's one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
I think you definitely sign him. Moving on to the wide receiver section. Patriots, Nelson Aguilar. Sign or let go? Or tag?
Let go. He's not even starting for them. Because you have Devontae Parker, Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, I think you let him go. Go find another. There's a few entering the market next offseason that would.
I would love him on the Browns. Because he's a good red zone threat.
I think he's still probably the number 1 wide receiver going into next year. Free agency market, because looking at this list right now, it's not very deep.
I mean, there's Jacoby Myers. I think Jacoby Myers is better than him.
We'll do Juju Smith-Schuster.
Sign.
The
Chiefs cannot let him walk. They can't let him walk. Pay him 3 years, $35 million. That's like what, 12 mil a year, 11 mil a year.
Like 50-60% fully guaranteed.
Yeah, and I think he likes it in Kansas City. He's winning. He's winning games.
Yep, and he has a better chance at
Super Bowl. Yep.
Jarvis Landry for the Saints. Sign.
Walk.
Or let go.
Walk. It was a 1 year deal for a reason with the Saints. He's going back to Cleveland. I've been saying this since like week 10. He's going back to Cleveland after the season.
Yep, probably.
Especially this week, because we're playing the Saints. They're asking questions about Jarvis Landry. And like, hey, you're going against him. What has he meant to you guys in the locker room? Every single player is saying Jarvis Landry was the heartbeat of our team. And they have said, literally, we wish Andrew didn't let him go. Andrew Barry, our GM. They've literally said, we wish AB didn't let him go. He's coming back to Cleveland. He's coming back. 100%.
Probably.
So I think the Saints let him walk. I think so
too. I think he's going to ask for too much money to stay on the Saints, and the Saints are going to pay him. And they're not going to waste his tag on Jarvis Landry, who's getting older as a player.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, he's 31. That's ancient for wide receiver.
And he's been injured all year. All year he's been
Yep.
injured.
All right, final one for wide receivers, and then maybe we'll do a few defense players. But let's do where'd he go? Alan Lazard for the Packers.
Sign. Well. Let me change that. Depending on Aaron Rodgers, what you do. Aaron Rodgers likes him, so if Aaron stays, he stays. If Aaron leaves, you let him walk. I think the only reason he's there, is because Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, his current APY is just below 4 mil.
He definitely deserves more than that.
He does.
He'll
But
get 8 mil in the open market.
He would. I think he would stay in Green Bay for 5 mil a year, and you could easily. You can figure that out.
It all depends. It all depends if Aaron's there. It all depends.
Yep. Look here. Any Dalton Schultz sign or let go? Tight end for the Cowboys.
So he's already on the franchise tag this year.
Yep.
They want him there. They just can't find the number. I would sign him, but I don't think they're gonna come. I think they're gonna tag him again. But I'm gonna say I would sign him, but I don't. I just think he's asking for too much. So.
Yep, I agree. We'll do a few defensive players here. We'll just list them off, not in order, but Dalvin Jones for the Browns. Sign or let go.
Who?
Deion Jones.
Sign.
Deion Jones. I thought I said D all the time.
Is he really
Deion
a free
Jones.
agent? Is he really a free agent?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought he was on like a 3-year deal.
Nope.
Deion Jones contract. Like I thought we inherited his massive contract. I'm not even lying. I mean, awesome. Thank God he's only on a one. I'm not gonna lie. Thank God he's only on a 1-year deal. Oh yeah, they voided it. When the Browns traded for him, they voided the rest of his contract. Thank God. I would sign him, but he had a massive contract. That's what I'm saying. Thank God.
He had too much. His current open market APY is 14 mil a year. I don't think he's worth that.
No. What the heck? No, he's not worth that, dude. I've been watching him since we traded for him. He's not worth that. I would sign him. Our linebacker core is constantly hurt. We actually have lost 5 starting linebackers this year. JOK, Anthony Walker, Sione Takitaki, Justin Fields. Not Justin Fields. Tony Fields. Tony Fields and someone else, a 5th person. But all 5 of them had started, and they kept getting injured, so the next person would start. Deion Jones is the only guy who, since we've traded for him, has played every game. I would sign him. 100%. I would sign him.
I agree. Moving on, we'll do Jesse Bates from the Bengals, safety.
Walk. They drafted
really?
They drafted Daxton Hill for a reason.
Yeah.
Jesse Bates doesn't want to be there either. He's been saying he doesn't want to be there. Again, I don't believe in tagging players who don't want to be there. It kills your locker room.
I agree. Yeah, that would be a really fun free agency pickup for the Bears.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, yeah. Him, Eddie Jackson
in the back.
Jaquan Brisker playing more of a sub linebacker role where he's in the box. Oh my God, dude. That'd be nasty.
It would. Anyway, moving on from that wet dream of Jadeveon Clowney. I can never pronounce his name right, but for the Browns. Huh?
Jadeveon.
Jadeveon.
There you go.
There we go. Clowney.
I'm gonna say walk. He's not been what we wanted. That's why. He's not bad. Like again, he's not bad. He's not what we need.
Let him go test the free agency market.
Just like we did last year.
Not gonna get that much.
We did the same. We did the exact same thing last year, where we signed him. He played a year. Then it was after the draft, like in the training camp. We didn't know where he was going still, and like the day before mandatory training camp, he signed. I think it'll be the exact same thing. He'll sign for like 8 mil maybe, but I would let him walk if he wants to come back that late in the free agency again. Sure, but I'm gonna let him walk. He's just not what we need, not what we want anymore. We're getting a new defensive coordinator. Joe Woods is gone.
30.
Yeah, Joe Woods is gonna be gone after the season. I want to see what that defensive coordinator wants. I'm gonna let him walk for now, but I would sign him back if he's still available by training camp.
We'll do the last defensive player, Marcus Peters for the Ravens, cornerback. He's played 90%
Sign.
of the snaps.
Sign.
Sign?
Sign.
Yep. I think
Not
he,
to a massive deal. I would maybe do like
No,
a 1 year,
he's
8
not.
mil.
He's too old for a massive deal at this point in his career.
Yeah, I do a 1 year for 8
He's
mil
30.
and just keep doing 1 year deals.
Yep. Maybe if he wants a multi-year deal, maybe do like, a 3-year, 5 mil.
Yeah.
But
'Cause- Yeah, I would not sign him to a massive long term deal.
now a fun little list that I wasn't kind of expecting, but looking at the top 3 names here, it's a fun little four names. Kickers. We'll go off real quick. Mason Crosby, sign or let go for the Packers.
I'm gonna say signed because of loyalty.
I agree. I think they will sign him. Jason Myers for the Seahawks.
Walk.
I don't disagree. I think he'll make good money on the free agency market, but
They're a team going through a
rebuild.
rebuild. Yeah, they're a team about to go through a rebuild. They got to not spend money at kicker.
Yeah, I think they can find a much cheaper kicker. Cameron Decker from the Chargers is a free agent next year. I think they could easily get him on. He's not on my list, but Matt Prater for the Cardinals.
Walk. He's doing his tour right now that every kicker goes through, where he's just going 1 year deal, 1 year deal.
Keep going around. Last one, Robbie Gould.
I think he retires. He's 40 years old, man. He's got to retire.
I could see him playing 1 more year, but I think what's gonna happen, and I kind of hope this happens because he's still a really good kicker. I want to see him sign a 1 year deal with the Bears
Oh yeah.
to retire a Bear, and then even if it's
Well,
even if it's
it'll be a what? It'll be a
1 year.
It'll be a 1 day deal no matter what. Even if he does retire, let's say he does
Yeah.
retire this year, he's just signed a 1 day
Well,
deal.
it was rumored. It was rumored 2 or 3 years ago when after the double doink that he was coming back to the Bears
I remember.
because he wanted to and the Bears wanted, but then the 49ers franchise tagged him
I remember. Yep, they did, and then he signed
and
a
kind of
multi-year
screwed that
deal.
all up. So
Because he was still really good that year. I remember because
He was.
I remember that story that he wanted to come back. They franchise tagged him. They tagged the kicker. That's how good he is. They tagged the kicker.
That's how good he is, though. That's how much that they were like, we need him on our team.
Yeah.
That they tagged him. But that's all that I have for free agency signings.
Sign tag release.
Yep.
Awesome. Moving on to our very last topic of this week. We didn't really have many conversational topics, like where we ask a question and talk. It's not much going on really to talk about. I'm introducing a new topic where will be the last topic of every week, where we talk about last week's bets and what I'm doing the next week. Remember, gamble wisely. Do not gamble what you cannot afford. All right, like I'm being very serious. Do not gamble if you cannot afford to lose the gamble. What I have said for years. I just turned 21, but I've said this for years. You never bet more than $10 a week, and you always do a 6-game parlay because 6-game parlays give you the most cash out. I mean, as you guys can see on screen right now, I put $10 wager. I could win $3,500. I'll never do more than $10 at once. It's dumb. You don't need to do more than 10. Like, don't be greedy. You know what I mean? Like, just accept if you win it, you get $3,500. Like, I'm cool with $3,500, bro. But this is my 6-game parlay. I have for the LA Rams and the Denver Broncos game, which earlier I said I think the Rams will win. I also have them winning under 36.5 points because both the Rams and the Broncos together only average 31 points a game. That's so depressing. 2 NFL teams together average 31 points. They're the 2 worst scoring offenses in the league, but 2 of the best defenses in the league. I think the defense is going to control that game under 36.5 points. I have the Texans upsetting the Titans. The Texans played amazing last week, almost beat the Chiefs. The Titans are kind of sliding right now. I'm predicting the Texans upset the Titans. The Seahawks, I have the Seahawks upsetting the Chiefs. Like you said earlier, I don't really know if the Seahawks is an upset. They're like they could win that game.
100%.
Yeah, I don't think that. Excuse me. I don't think that game really is an upset. I think it's more of like, oh, you're just going against you're going against the betting favorite.
Yeah.
In my opinion, what is the true upset is the Giants at Vikings. The Vikings, like I said earlier, The Vikings have the worst point differential in the league. I believe it's now negative. I believe it might be negative now. But they're still 10-4 or 11-3, whatever they are.
10-4, I believe. But yeah.
10-4. Well, no, because they beat the Colts. So it'd be 11-3.
Oh yeah.
They beat the Colts.
11-3.
Yeah, so they're 11-3, but they're not an 11-3 team. They're more like a 500 team. The Giants, their defense shown against the Commanders that they know how to do pass interference. I mean, they know how to win a game. Their offense is good enough to win. Their defense is terrible. The Vikings' defense is terrible. Like I said, their quarter, half defense is not how you should play defense with a man corners. I think the Giants can win this game. And the Eagles, the Eagles are not betting favorites against the Cowboys. So when I saw that, they're not. Because they think Gardner Minshew is starting. Even though Gardner Minshew has thrown 2 touchdowns in the last 4 starts. I'm being serious. I'm being serious. They're not betting favorites to win that game. Put $10, you win 180. Yeah, it is. Like, that's a game I would put $10 on. Like, it's like, yeah, I think the Eagles will win that game. But the Eagles are not favored to win that game. The Cowboys are. But Jalen Hurts might start that week. They've been saying that Jalen Hurts is progressing to where he might start on Saturday. And all of these games are on Saturday except for the Rams game. So if I do win all these games on Saturday, I will be taking a buyout no matter what. No matter what, I'm taking a buyout because I put $10. In fact, me and my brother actually both did the same bets. Andrew also gave me $10. So if we are offered a buyout, I would be buying us both out, and we'll both be getting a very nice Christmas gift. But I'm excited. I think it's a really good wager.
Dude, I might need to go do stop by at our local casino and just
do it on FanDuel. Oh no, do it on the one app that we're not sponsored by. Yeah. Whatever app would like to sponsor us in the future, I will welcome it. I just used an app. You can't see the name of the app, right? Awesome. You can't see the name of the app. This is a random app that we are not sponsored by. Again, bet responsibly. Do not bet if you do not have the money to bet. And also do not bet dumb. Actually put your, I'm being very serious. I may be betting, but again, like I said, I only bet $10 at a time. I will never bet more than $10 a week.
Set a limit. Stay to that limit no matter what. It might not be $10. If you're making $100 million a year,
you don't need to bet.
Look, I would bet.
You go home. You go home and you sleep. What are you talking about? I wouldn't bet. I'm doing this because I don't make $100 million a year.
But set a limit and keep to that limit. Don't be changing it week by week.
I chose $10 because that means over 18 weeks of the NFL season, I would lose $180 if I lost every single week. But if I win
on a single game ticket.
But if I won 1 week, it's a 20 times payout. So if I win once, it's amazing. But if I lose $180, I lose 1 lunch a week, $10. Like, it's not that big. That's why I chose $10. Obviously, if you're in a better financial spot than I am, you can bet more, but please bet responsibly. I don't know if I need to actually have that don't bet, like that whole screen that people usually put on. But I'm telling you right now, please bet responsibly. This is what I am doing though. Hopefully I'll be updating on my Twitter. I asked a couple of our fantasy football guys. I actually I messaged and I said, hey, what do you think? And they said they liked it. So hey, we'll see what happens. But that was episode 4 of Sports Stuff for week 16 of the NFL week. Yay! This is our longest episode.
We keep getting longer and longer, man.
We always keep the topics to 8. We never go over 8 topics. That's weird. We always just keep getting longer and longer. But if you guys did enjoy,
I guess.
Sadly, God, dude, we're taking a break just so everyone knows. After the draft into training camp, there's nothing to talk about, dude. Notice how that's when everyone takes breaks for their sports shows. Everyone goes oh, I'm going to Venice for 2 months. Come on, man.
Yeah. You
gotta work during those 2 months. But if you guys did enjoy, spring football. I forgot spring football week during that, so we do have stuff to talk about. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified when we post next. Go to our description. Go click our link trees and our links. Follow us. Aaron has his own merch now. Go buy his shirts and his mugs and all that. Go follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's all linked below. We'll see you guys later. Peace and bye.